Mikey! Mikey, time for your snack, sweetie. Right out of the oven, just the way you like them. They'll be cold if you wait till halftime. So I thought I'd just bring... Mikey, what have you done?
The dreams and schemes of a young Mike Martz came to life nearly a half-century later with the St. Louis Rams. For the last 3 years, the NFL's resident genius has masterminded an offensive attack that has led his team to a pair of Super Bowls and one NFL title. But this year, the plan has gone astray. It's the Rams offense that can't solve the problem, and Martz is feeling the heat.
You hate to see it because you love him as a player. You love playing for him. You love the attitude that he takes each and every day. And he's not a guy that does what everybody else expects him to do, does what everybody else wants him to do. He's not like any other coach in the league.
Right now, Martz is a winless coach looking down the barrel at a tough opponent and in jeopardy tonight of falling to 0-3.
Right now, there's no panic level. There's a sense of urgency. We've got to figure out what we've been doing wrong, and we've got to change it. That needs to happen tonight.
Hey, boys. Are you ready for some football?
Put the pedal to the metal in somebody's spear. Tonight, the NFL kicks it into high gear. The Bucs' new captain left his patch for a sword. The Rams charge in to throw him overboard. You better sit back, strap in and hold tight. It's always full throttle on Monday night. Hit it. Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. It's a Super Bowl season. We're gonna rock, rock, rock it. Players at the ready. Al and John at the mic. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night.
The first full day of autumn still feels a lot like summer on Florida's Gulf Coast. Temperature 80 degrees here in Tampa inside Raymond James Stadium now. Home of the Buccaneers since 1998. Filled the capacity, and out onto the field come the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are ready to face the St. Louis Rams. Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark, welcome to Tampa. The Rams, of course, were the preseason consensus choice to win the Super Bowl, but on opening day they lost to Denver. Then at home last week they were shocked by the New York Giants. We'll find out if the greatest show on turf can get it turned around tonight on grass against the Buccaneers, who lost here on opening day in overtime to New Orleans and then rebounded with a road shutout as they beat Baltimore last week by a score of 25-0. And John, we met last night. Mike Martz, of course, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, the key Rams. What do you come away with? What's the state of the Rams right now?
Well, you know, one of the things when you lose a game, you also lose confidence. And I don't feel that this team has the confidence that they had a year and 2 and 3 years ago. But all they need to heal that is a win, because they still have good players. I mean, Kurt Warner is still a great quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with his thumb. You know, Torrey Holt is still a good wide receiver. Isaac Bruce is a good wide receiver. Marshall Faulk, you know, could be the best player in all of football. And they're making plays, but they just can't put them all together. In fact, something bad seemed to happen on the way to the goal line.
It did. As far as the Bucs are concerned, Tony Dungy did a real good job here. No question, restored respectability to the franchise, but got fired because he couldn't get them through the playoffs, only to the playoffs. Now they expect John Gruden to get them through the playoffs. What chance does he have?
Well, you know, his offense isn't ready yet. I mean, you watch him, and they're struggling on offense, and he's not getting any big plays. He said he'd like to get big plays. Tampa Bay is still about defense, and this defense matches up very well against the Rams offense.
I think we'll have a good one tonight. We deserve a good one. Yeah, Week 3, these two teams have played a couple of classics the last 2 years on Monday night. Here we go again, Rams-Bucs. Tonight's quarterback comparison is brought to you by McDonald's. It's been a slow start for the Rams' Kurt Warner. Only 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and a pass rating 20 points below his career average. Tampa Bay's Brad Johnson has thrown for 2 touchdowns, the only touchdowns his offense has generated in the first 2 games.
A lot can be said about the fact we only use 100% pure beef in our burgers. Usually, a mouthful.
In the city, the only thing standing between life and death is a thin blue line.
Get down, everybody! Hit the ground! We need an ambulance!
You're going to be all right.
The NYPD Blue 2-hour event. First, celebrate 9 great years, then stay tuned for the season legends are made of. Tomorrow at 9/8 Central on ABC. Viewer discretion advised.
We're ready now. Tampa, Florida. The Rams with the stars out. Marshall, Faulk. The Bucs with their own stars. Warren Sapp heading the great Buck defense. Kickoff coming up.
I learned 40 years ago, if you're going to give objective advice, you have to take the self-interest out of the equation.
Charles Schwab created a different kind of company.
The first question we ask our client is, what do you need?
Our expertise is based on hard facts, not hot tips.
Since our employees are never paid a commission, we only offer objective advice.
We're on the side of the individual investor, and that is our purpose.
Clients deserve investment advice that they can trust, period.
There's never been a better time for Charles Schwab.
ABC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Tampa, Florida, as we conclude week 3 of the 2002 National Football League season. The Rams and the Bucs, 3rd year in a row. They've met on Monday night. Bucs won here 2 years ago, and doesn't Mike Martz remember that one well, 38-35. And then last year, Tampa, in a critical game, went into St. Louis and knocked off the Rams. Mike Martz was the offensive coordinator in the Super Bowl season when Dick Vermeil was the head coach, and then Dick, as Johnny Greer tosses the coin.
Tampa wants the ball.
Tampa wins the toss. Dick Vermeil hastily retired a couple of days after the Super Bowl.
We'll receive. Let's have a good game, fellas.
And Mike Martz got the keys to the kingdom. Keyshawn Johnson. We'll see him in action tonight. Former Jet. Came over here a couple of years ago. John Lynch, one of the keys to the Tampa Bay defense. He's with Melissa Stark. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Al. Well, one of the biggest surprises so far this season is how unproductive the Rams offense has been. John, you've watched them on film all week. Are they still as dangerous as they've always been?
Absolutely. I think they're struggling a little bit as far as getting the ball in the end zone, but Kurt Warner's still throwing at a 73% clip. Still look over there and see 28, so they're still the same guys, and we're expecting their best shot tonight.
John Gruden comes in here, replaces a very popular head coach in Tony Dungy. What's been the biggest impact he's made?
Well, I think their personalities are different. A lot of the messages they preach are the same thing, but we love playing for the man, and we're going to go out there and show it tonight.
Good luck tonight, John. Al, each of the last 2 times these teams have played each other, it's been Lynch that sealed the victory, intercepting Kurt Warner on the final drive.
Right here 2 years ago, and then in the Dome in St. Louis last year. Tampa Bay has never returned a kickoff for a touchdown. 27th year in the league, 1,552 kickoffs. Jeff Wilkins to boot it, and back deep Aaron Stecker for the Buccaneers.
Jeff Wilkins to boot it without a shoe. This is a new deal. It, kind of kickers have a lot of time to think about things, and this is one of the things that Jeff Wilkins came up with. I'll take off my shoe and put some tape on it.
Missed a field goal too last week at home against the Giants, but shoeless tonight. He sends one to the corner, and it just does bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Just does. Had it gone out at the 1-yard line, the Bucs would have had the ball at the 40. Here's the Tampa Bay offense.
Brad Johnson, Florida State University. Michael Pittman, Fresno State.
Mike Allstott, Purdue.
Keyshawn Johnson, USC.
Keenan McCardell, UNLV.
Ken Dilger, Illinois.
Roman Oben, University of Louisville.
Kerry Jenkins, Troy State.
Jeff Christie, Pitt.
Cozy Coleman, University of Tennessee.
Kenyatta Walker, University of Florida.
Kenyatta Walker, left tackle last year, moving to the right side. He was the #1 choice out of Florida in 2001. Johnson to the air, throws, and completes his first pass, caught by the tight end, the former Colt Ken Dilger 9-yard gain. Let's take a look at the Ram defense.
Leonard Little, Tennessee.
Brian Young, Utah.
Jeff Scanina, Purdue University.
Grant Wistrom, Nebraska.
Robert Thomas, UCLA.
Don Davis, University of Kansas.
Tommy Pollin, Florida State.
Aeneas Williams, Southern University.
Adam Archuleta, Arizona State.
Kim Herring, Penn State.
Dre Bly, North Carolina.
Now without a huddle, they go to the air to Keenan McCardell, and a lot of teams, John, opening up in the last couple of weeks, no huddle, as the Rams did last week.
And I think that's to control the pace. And one thing, you know, that in fact John Gruden was talking about it last night, one of the advantages of no huddle is when the head coach is calling the plays, he can talk to his quarterback all the way up until the 15-second mark on the time clock. So you can talk a guy through the no huddle.
Now they huddle before this play after picking up 15 on the first two. Johnson 2 for his first 2. And now their first run, and one of the new Bucs is Michael Pittman, the ex-Arizona Cardinal. Warrick Dunn opted to go to Atlanta, so they brought in a guy that Gruden loved in Arizona. And of course, he didn't get a lot of publicity and acclaim and exposure because he was playing with the Cardinals for the last few years.
And he has some quickness and some size about him. I mean, he's a weightlifter. If you look at his arms, his forearms are 19.5 inches. So he has that strength. He has that upper body strength. And as John Gruden says, the big thing we have to do with him is just keep him healthy.
Keep him healthy and hydrated. Came out with cramps last week in the third quarter at Baltimore. 2nd and 7. Johnson protected well, slings it to the outside. That's Dilger making another catch. And Dilger gets taken down at the 43, about 2 yards shy of the first down.
One thing that John Gruden was talking about is the offensive line has to control and give Brad Johnson time. And so far they are doing this, and guys are getting open against his zone. You see, Dilger just runs an out right there in front of the corner that's coming off. But here's the big thing. Here's going to be the key. You know, can this group in the white jerseys keep the blue jerseys off of Brad Johnson so he has time to do those types of things? Because we know Brad Johnson doesn't run.
So far, so good. 3rd and about 1.5 yards, and that's another first down. The ex-Jaguar, McCardell, slips the tackle at the 50, and then Don Davis, an ex-Buck, knocks him down at the 40-yard line.
I think the Ram defense has to disrupt this rhythm because John Gruden is getting in an offensive rhythm now. Brad Johnson is in offensive rhythm, and then Keenan McCardell, you see him, he starts to come in motion, then he stops and goes back to the outside. I tell you, that's a pattern that Tim Brown ran all the time for John Gruden. Just those types of things where you start one way, go back the other way, and the timing with Brad Johnson is perfect.
3 minutes into the game, they flank Pittman to the right, fake it to Allstott, who sees his first action, and Dilger makes another catch and then drops the ball, but dropped it out of bounds.
Yeah, it was funny. We were talking to John Gruden last night, and he said two guys have to step up, or two groups. He said, one, our offensive line. He said they have to play better than they have. They have to play more aggressive than they have. And the other thing is our tight end. I tell you, he's bringing Dilger into this thing right off the bat, isn't it?
He was expressing some displeasure with his tight ends earlier this week. He signs Ricky Dudley, the former Raider, who was released by Cleveland. And then all of a sudden, Dilger must have read those clippings.
Well, you know, he did, and that's the thing about John Gruden. If he has something on his mind, he's going to get it off his mind and get it on yours.
Dilger's caught 3. He picks up 9 there. It's 2nd down and 1. Pittman on a draw, and Pittman should have enough with that second thrust to pick up the first down. Tyoka Jackson, another former Buck, makes the tackle, and there is a former Buck coach. Lovie Smith was the linebacker coach here for Tony Dungy a couple of years ago, and then Mike Martz brought him to St. Louis last year, and he did a wonderful job turning that defense around.
Right, and the thing, he uses the same defense as the Bucs do, but he uses more man coverage and he blitzes more. And we're getting into an area, or the Bucs are getting into an area now where Lovie Smith really does like to blitz.
And here's a new set, 4 wides, a little backflip to Williams. And Carl Williams, stellar punt returner. In fact, he ran one back at Baltimore last week for a touchdown. Makes the catch here. And Brad Johnson with the hot hand at the outset. He's 5 for 5, though that would actually not be that's a backward pass, in effect a run.
But I think the whole thing is Brad Johnson getting in a rhythm. You know, John Gruden getting his offense in this rhythm, because they have it and the Rams defense haven't knocked it out of him yet.
Not yet. This drive started at the 20-yard line. Now at the Ram 24, 4.5 into the game. Pittman cuts it back inside and is stopped by a trio of Rams led by the linebacker Tommy Polley at the 21-yard line.
You know, I'm surprised that the Rams are using so much cover 2 down here with their safeties deep, because their best run stopper is really Adam Archuleta. And if they're having problems with the run, they're going to get him up in there. Cover 2 puts Adam Archuleta back and puts him deep where he can't get involved. He's not a great pass defender, but I'll tell you, he's a heck of a run defender. And I think in this down, they have to get him up and involved.
Very much like John Lynch on the other side, playing that same role. 3rd down and 2 from the 21-yard line. Johnson protected well, and that one is knocked down. He tried to get it into Keyshawn Johnson, and it was knocked away by Robert Thomas, rookie linebacker, the #1 draft choice out of UCLA. So they bogged down, and now they'll have to settle for about a 38-yard field goal attempt.
And here you can see Dre Bly trying to get up and get a bump. He doesn't get a bump on Keyshawn, but he gets a hold. That should have been called. In fact, he got up and missed the bump, grabbed a hold, and then he grabbed a hold again at Keyshawn. I'll tell you one thing about Keyshawn Johnson, he does get mauled.
Martin Gramatica, this is a 39-yard field goal attempt. And it is good. So they control the ball for the first 5:28, move from their own 20 down into field goal range, and Gramatica makes it 3-0 Tampa Bay. ABC's Monday Night Football being brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. T-Mobile, get more minutes, more features, more service. And Nissan and your Nissan dealer. The Bay Area, John Gruden trading one Bay Area for the other. And a lot of moolah.
And draft choices too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't they have to give the Raiders $8 million and 2 firsts and 2 seconds?
You bet they did. And then signed Gruden. Kickoff fielded by Dre Bly from the 5-yard line, and great coverage by the Bucs, but a flag is down as Aaron Stecker stuck him. Johnny Greer will make the call.
Holding number 55 of the receiving team during the return.
That's Robert Thomas, and that'll back the Rams up deep for their first possession tonight. Aerial coverage on this humid night being provided by Budweiser as you look down into Raymond James Stadium, where a couple of years ago the Ravens won the Super Bowl here as they beat the Giants. Now the Rams.
And I'll tell you, the Rams better block that Warren Sack guy they're talking about.
Yes.
Big old 99 right there. That's really the strength of this Buck defense, I think.
2 sacks of Warner in each of the last 2 years on Monday night. From the 9 now, the Rams begin this drive with 9:26 to go in the period. Crowd roaring down at that end of the field, and it's Faulk picking up just 1. Here's the Ram offense.
Kurt Warner, Northern Iowa.
Marshall Faulk, San Diego State University.
Chris Hetherington, Yale.
Isaac Bruce, Memphis.
Torrey Holt, North Carolina State.
Brandon Manumalayuna, Arizona.
Orlando Pace, Ohio State.
Tom Newton, Western Michigan.
Andy McCollum, Toledo.
Adam Timmerman, South Dakota State. John St. Clair, Virginia.
There was a question about Ernie Conwell at tight end because of a neck problem, but right now he's in the game. So is Manu Malayuna, the other tight end. Double tight end set. Warner flings it out to the 24, and Ernie Conwell, bad neck and all, makes the grab, tackled by John Lynch.
Yeah, Mike March was telling us last night that Ernie Conwell wouldn't start. Bad neck, and he didn't think that he'd be able to handle it. But it all starts here. They have to get the pass protection. Now, Warren Sapp is coming. See on that right side, get the pressure, but Kurt Warner was able to get it out to Ernie Conwell just before Sapp got there.
14-yard gain, gives him some breathing space. First down. Isaac Bruce is in motion from the 24-yard line. Warner setting up in the pocket, flings it over the middle and into the middle of a quartet of Bucs. Torrey Holt, who was fighting a stomach virus before the game, and in fact Mike March said about an hour ago, I don't know if he can play, I don't know how much he can play. Well, he's playing.
Well, you know, Kurt Warner throws into windows, and to have windows he has to have good protection, and it starts right here. You see, they only rush 3 because they drop McFarland out, so that gives them a pretty good pocket and pretty good time. And anytime Kurt Warner has time like this, he is going to find that deep dig or in route by Torrey Holt or Isaac Bruce.
25-yard gain. Now the fake to Faulk. A wobbly duck that's nearly intercepted. Nearly intercepted by Rondy Barber. And let's meet the Tampa Bay defense.
Greg Spires, Florida State.
Warren Sapp, University of Miami.
Anthony McFarland, LSU.
Simeon Rice of the Illini.
Al Singleton, Temple University.
Shelton Quarles, Vanderbilt.
Derek Brooks, Florida State.
Brian Kelly, USC.
John Lynch, Stanford.
Dexter Jackson, Florida State.
Rondé Barber, Virginia.
Second down and 10 now. From the 49, Bucs show blitz. Here they come. Warner under pressure, wobbles one, but it's caught by Torrey Holt. And the 1,000th completion of Kurt Warner's career is for a first down, and he gets to 1,000 faster than any quarterback in history.
And he did it with a duck. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, he will throw some great spirals, and he'll throw some tight spirals, and he'll throw some ugly ones, but so would you. If you had to dodge someone like that and get your arm in that position, it's amazing that he got that ball out there to Torrey Holt.
He's thrown 1,487 passes. He's now completed 1,000, breaking the record currently held by, or to that moment, by Joe Montana. It took him 15:71 to get there. So Warner there a lot faster as Faulk takes the ball inside the 30. Barber makes the tackle. 6:20 remaining in the quarter, and there it is. Fewest passes to 1,000 completions. And Warner tonight, as the night goes along, will be up and over a threshold that will enable him to be the leader in a lot of categories, and we'll document that as we go along.
Tell you one thing he's a leader in is accuracy. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've ever seen.
From the 29, 2nd and 4, inside handoff. Faulk picks up a couple. Rondy Barber knifes in from the corner to stop him.
You know, Rondy Barber, in fact, John Gruden calls him a collision corner. And you just watch him on film and tape, and here he is right here, but he's all over the place. You think he's a corner, and then he plays on the slot guy. And when they blitz a defensive back, it's either John Lynch or Rondy Barber. But Rondy Barber, wherever he is, seems to get in on the tackle. He is never a guest out there.
Tiki's twin brother, what an afternoon he had in Baltimore last week. All over the place. 3rd and 3 from the 28-yard line. Warner over the middle, wide open to Faulk. Marshall to the 10, loses the ball, and that's news, but gets it back at the 5. He almost never fumbles.
You know, and that's the thing that Kurt Warner is going to do. He's going to look downfield. He's going to look for his wide receivers. If he can't find them, he goes to his check down and Marshall Faulk. And Marshall Faulk is the best check down back in all of football. You just watch him here. You see he's lined up right here. Now a check down is where you come through and you just check right in the middle and find your quarterback. You see he starts out there, then he just sits right there. He just finds a hole, sits in it, and Kurt Warner looks deep, can't find anyone deep, and boom, comes back to his check down.
That time they had Yul Murphy lined up where Faulk would normally line up. Now Marshall from his normal position, untouched to the end zone. So they go 91 yards. And it's the first time this season in 2 games plus 10.5 minutes that the Rams have had the lead.
And they look like the old Rams. We talked about confidence, and you can't lose and then have confidence, but this is what helps you get your confidence back. A drive like this, a pretty good pass protection, and then they have the good throws by Kurt Warner, and then being able to run the ball. That's what I felt the Rams had to get back to, is running the ball with Marshall Faulk.
Textbook drive. Warner was 4 of 5. Faulk takes it in. Wilkins converts. It takes 9 plays to go those 91 yards in a little bit more than 5 minutes. And the Rams have the lead over the Bucs. 7-3 in Tampa. 7-3, you're right, John. The old Rams they look like there.
Well, that was a great drive, and it was a great run there at the end by Marshall Faulk. And here's the thing Mike Martz wants to get back to. Chris Hetherington makes a pretty good block, I thought, on John Lynch, because John Lynch has contained number 47, and I saw him come up. Now watch John Lynch right here and Hetherington, and watch why he goes down. Watch that left arm bar in there, and he just grabbed it down, because I was saying Lynch has contained, and then how did Marshall Faulk get around him? Well, Chris Hetherington just grabbed John Lynch and tackled him.
Last week, the Rams were griping about the officiating with Dick Hantak's crew. We understand that, according to Rams sources, that the league agreed that the Rams were right. You never know what they really said to him, but they got away with one there. Wilkins kick fielded by Aaron Stecker at the 3. And he brings it back up to the 27-yard line. 4:19 remaining in the opening quarter here on the Gulf Coast of Florida. 7-3 St. Louis. Saturday, ABC Sports presents a Big Ten battle. Number 14, Michigan, heading to Champaign, Illinois, to take on the Fighting Illini. Other regional action as well, 3:30 Eastern. Speaking of Champaign, we'll be there in a couple of weeks with the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Now Tampa, from its own 27-yard line, begins this drive with Pittman picking up 3. By the way, that Ram touchdown was the first quarter touchdown the Buccaneers have allowed in their last 11 regular season games.
Well, it was great mixture, and they started. I mean, the Rams started way back in their own territory, and Kurt Warner on that drive made 2 or 3 great throws. That deep into Torrey Holt was a heck of a throw, and that out to Torrey Holt out here. Those were 2 great throws on that drive.
And Faulk was wide open and wound up running it in for a score. Johnson to the outside, and his new favorite target is Ken Dilger. And Dilger, close to a first down, makes his 4th catch of the night as he's tackled by Dre Bly.
You know what I think the big thing here, Al, for the Bucs is that Brad Johnson hasn't been hit yet. You know, if you looked in the first game, he got the heck knocked out of him. And the second game last week, even though they won, he still took a lot of hits. Not as many as the first game, but I don't think that the Ram defense has hit Brad Johnson yet.
I don't think they've touched him, and he's dropped back to pass 8 times, completed 7.
And if you don't touch Brad Johnson, he can be dangerous.
From the 37-yard line, and this time they won't touch him because a flag for a false start stops play. 1st and 15
Prior to the snap, false start, number 67, offense. Still first down.
Kenyatta Walker. Gruden calling in the play. Take a look at this. The active NFL quarterback's best records as a starter, Warner 35-10. Of course, Brett Favre would figure to be on that list. There's Donovan McNabb as well. And Brad Johnson 4th. Minnesota, Washington, and now Tampa Bay for Brad. 1st and 15. Johnson untouched again to the other Johnson. Brad to Keyshawn. And all the way into Ram territory, and a first down to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, and it all starts with the protection. Again, if you give Brad Johnson the time, he's able to do these types of things. And it's good protection here. See, the tackles run their guys by. You stop the tackles. In fact, Brad Johnson did get a hit there just as he throws this one to Keyshawn Johnson. That was a cover 2. Keyshawn Johnson got by the corner and in front of the safety.
Now from the 48, here's Pittman, and he gets tripped up as he crosses the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a gain of 2. Robert Thomas and Jeff Scanina for the tackle.
There's John Gruden calling the play. You see, the thing that he likes is he can talk all the way up until 15 seconds. So he's not only calling, the first things he gives is a formation. The second thing he gives is a play. And then the third thing he gives is coaching points. And he has to watch himself that he doesn't give too many coaching points. It just drives the quarterback crazy.
As it did Rich Gannon a lot in Oakland over the last couple of seasons. 2nd down and 8 from the 46-yard line. And there goes Johnson. They finally get to him. And the pass is incomplete. So now Brad has gone down on the last couple of attempts. Grant Wistrom and Jeff Scanina.
Yeah, watch Grant Wistrom against Robin Oben here. He was the guy. The thing I like about Wistrom is he has a motor. I mean, he's one of those guys that goes 100 miles an hour. He never stops, and he just keeps going until he gets to the quarterback. I mean, he'll be down and he's still diving for things. He's a tough guy to cut because, you know, those big lumbering guys you want to cut at the end. Those guys that'll jump over you, it's always dangerous when you cut them.
3rd down, 8 now from the St. Louis 47-yard line. The blitz, he gets it away. The hot read is Keyshawn Johnson, and that's a 1st down at the 36-yard line. So the Rams came, and it was Johnson to Johnson, tackled by Herring.
These fans love this offense. They haven't seen this type of thing where you go up and down the field. Keyshawn's a big wide receiver, you know, and he'll run this slant all night. And the thing that he does is he's so big and strong that he can take a hit. First he gives you a shoulder, then at the end he always gives you his back. Watch him turn right there. You see, in fact, he told me one time, if he's going to have to take a shot, he wants to take it in the back, not in the front. And at the end of the play, he'll always try and get turned and go with his back going forward.
Pirouettes his way to a 1st down. Ricky Dudley is in the game. Johnson comes back to this side, and he was looking for the aforementioned Dudley. Just picked up this week and incomplete. 2nd and 10. Well, the Denver Broncos are unbeaten, 3-0 after their win yesterday against Buffalo. They're on Monday night next week. Brian Greasy and company. And it's Mr. Sharp coming back to take on Baltimore. The Vikings and Seahawks is the Sunday night game on ESPN. Shannon Sharp going back to Baltimore next week.
2 good defenses. You know, they talk about the Ravens being depleted. They still play tough defense.
As they did last week. Tampa did not score an offensive touchdown. And here is Keyshawn to the 29-yard line, where he's about 3 yards shy of the 1st down as he makes his 3rd catch. And Johnson has already completed 10 passes in the 1st period.
You know, and all those things that John Gruden told us last night are happening. He said he wants his offensive line to play better, to be aggressive. He wants to get Brad Johnson off to a good start. His tight ends have to be involved. And he said, I want to get Keyshawn Johnson going.
Keyshawn 3 grabs, 38 yards, 3rd down and 3 from the 29-yard line. Johnson to the outside, and that's incomplete. Too high, too wide for Keyshawn Johnson. So Gramatica will attempt a field goal, but that will come at the beginning of the 2nd quarter. After one, St. Louis leads 7-3, and Monday Night Football is back after this message and the words from our ABC stations. Back we come, Tampa, Florida. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Melissa Stark start the 2nd quarter. St. Louis up 7-3. And Martin Gramatica will attempt a 47-yard field goal as the teams change ends. Tom Tupa will hold. And that's why they call him Automatica. He made that one by about 10 yards.
And when you celebrate, always keep both feet in the ground.
Yes. Both Gramaticas know that. 7-6. Well, what do you think, John?
Yeah, there's 2 rules in life. You can always be late, because you're watching Monday Night Football and the World Series. That's the other one. As a kid, you can always watch those two things, and it's okay.
Only if you're in the Eastern and Central time zone, though. No excuse out west. 2-yard line. This is Dre Bly taking the kick. And gets tripped up. Nice play downfield by Todd Yoder, one of their tight ends. Here comes Warner and the Rams. It raised the bar and set new standards. The 2-hour Blue event. First celebrate 9 great years, then stay tuned for the season legends are made of. NYPD Blue tomorrow at 9 Eastern and Pacific. After Terrence Wilkins takes the kick back to the 19-yard line, the Rams on first down, only their second possession. They went 91 yards in a little more than 5 minutes, and now they begin on the ground and they give it to Faulk, and he goes nowhere. Anthony McFarland, the other tackle, because Warren Sapp is so loquacious and in fact so good. This guy doesn't get nearly the attention he should.
Yeah, and maybe because Sapp gets so much attention, McFarland can make plays like this. Here he is here. You just watch. He just grabs the center and then just goes right down the line. That's what good defensive linemen do. They know where the hole's going to be. They know where the back's going, and they cut him off at that point. They don't go where the back is. They go where he's going to go and meet him at that juncture. That's what old Booger did on that play.
Second down and 13. Tight roll. Warner steps up, slings it. It's caught. Torrey Holt wearing Oz Hakeem's old number 81. Hakeem now with Detroit. And Holt, who used to wear 88, said, as long as Oz is gone, it's mine. They were the numbers through the first period.
Yeah, what a first period it was. You know, we talk about the defenses and maybe how they're going to dominate, and Tampa Bay gets the ball and they go down and then they score. Then the Rams get the ball and they go down and score. Then Tampa Bay gets the ball and they go down and score. So it hasn't been a punt yet.
I wish these teams were in the same division. This is developing into some rivalry.
Yeah, this is fun. I mean, these are two very competitive teams that are very, very close to equal.
3rd and 3. Warner throws. That's caught. Ricky Prohl makes the catch. And that's John Lynch making the tackle. You know, it's funny. You take a look at a guy like Ricky Prohl, and it just comes to mind. He's been around a long time with Seattle and Arizona, and now in St. Louis. He has just now caught as many passes as Lance Allworth.
Yeah, because he's been around so long. I
right.
remember when Dick Vermeil was the head coach of the Rams, and he said that of all the players that he would hate to lose, his most valuable player at the time was Ricky Prohl. Because he was a guy that he could be the 3rd wide receiver, the 4th wide receiver, do so many things, and that was the thing that gave them all the flexibility on offense.
Little dump off underneath, Faulk, and he gets taken down in the open field by Derek Brooks. Ricky Prohl, of course, will never be forgotten by Buck fans because he's the guy that made the catch in the championship game to send them to the Super Bowl, a game they won 11-6.
Yeah, and I think if I had Kurt Warner and if I had Marshall Faulk, I think Ricky Prohl probably wouldn't be the most valuable player either. But I mean, he was making a point that, you know, I mean, you think of all the stars we have on offense, but one of the things that really makes this thing go is Ricky Prohl.
2nd and 6. Another of the new receivers, Terrence Wilkins, who they picked up from Indianapolis. He's been running back kicks. He's had a tough time picking up the offense. He's in the game, but before we see him, Warner will take a timeout. Timeout early, 2nd quarter in Tampa, 7-6 Rams.
The 2-hour NYPD Blue event.
Get down, everybody! Hit the ground!
First, celebrate 9 great years, then stay tuned for the season legends are made of. ABC tomorrow at 9/8 Central.
Aerial coverage, and you're looking at downtown Tampa, about a 20-minute drive to the south, provided by Budweiser. How many people around this country, John, think the name of this town is Tampa Bay?
Well, you know, if you call it Tampa, though, everyone will correct you and call it and say it's
right.
Tampa Bay. And if you call it Tampa Bay, someone will say it's Tampa.
That's right.
I always put the Bay on it, man. I don't want any arguments.
Tampa Bay area, 2nd down and 6. Warner, a wobbly pass, but it's right on the mark. And enough for a first down up at the 46-yard line. Torrey Holt making the catch.
You know, the Rams do so many things on that play. They started with an empty backfield, and then they brought Isaac Bruce in, and then he was in the backfield and he ran a swing out to the other side, and they give you so many different combinations of players, and then within those combinations of players, they give you shifts and motions that they really never let the defense get set.
From the 47-yard line, Faulk, and he gets upended. Can't get out of the backfield, and that's Derek Brooks, Pro Bowl linebacker.
And we talk about the strength of this defense. I think any sport, you have to have strength up the middle. And you got Booger McFarland, Warren Sapp, inside, and then you have this guy right here, and he's so strong, Derek Brooks, and then behind him you have John Lynch. And the strength of this defense is right here, right in this middle. And they're always going to have someone that's going to penetrate. So when you get penetration, that means that you have no cutback, that you always have to stay play side. Hey, Derek Brooks got penetration that time right through Tom Newton, didn't he?
In the meantime, you have Marshall Faulk being assisted off the field. So he gets whacked. The backup to Faulk is Trunk Kennedy, their #1 choice in 2000. But Faulk is shaken after a loss of 1. Here's Candidate now in the backfield.
Candidate's a good player, but he's not a fast starter.
Split back set, 2nd and 11. They go to the outside. They go to Holt. And Holt is across the 50, and he's taken down at the 46-yard line. And Torrey has now caught 5 for 69 yards as they keep checking on Faulk.
Yeah, and look how far off they're playing. If they don't play cover 2, if they play cover 1 or cover 3, they really give him a lot of room underneath. And if you're going to play that far off from him, then they can just come and run that hitch right in front of you and then create this situation. These are, you'd like to get first downs, but if you don't, you'd like to be in these 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situation.
And right now they're 3rd and 3 at the 46-yard line. Holt with a couple of big games in the last 2 years against the Bucs, and it's a short pass that's nearly picked off by Ronde Barber. And all he could think about was the end zone.
And he would have run that one into the end zone. And anytime a ball is nearly picked off with this Buck defense in the last 2 years, it's been Ronde Barber. I mean, he is all over the place. He's all over the place as a tackler. He's all over the place as a defender. And he just has this thing right here. You see, he started on one guy, and then he reads the quarterback. He looks back at Kurt Warner, comes off the guy that he was riding with, and he had to jump on that thing. And if he catches it, well, Isaac Bruce may have caught him.
Mitch Berger, who last punted with the Vikings, is the new Ram kicker. And he boots that one with a little backspin at the 5-yard line. Perfect. Pinning Tampa Bay deep. So with 9:39 to go in the half, the Bucs down by 1. They take over. On ABC Wednesday, these two doctors will do anything to save a human life, even if it means bending every rule in the book. It's MD's new show Wednesday, 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central and Mountain. Allstott and Darian Barnes are in the backfield from the 4-yard line, and here is Mike Allstott going nowhere. Meanwhile, let's check on Marshall Faulk.
What it was his neck. I mean, he got hit by Derek Brooks, and then as you'll see right here, he comes down and watch the back of his head hit, and then Wims comes right on top of him right there. So he gets the double whack there. He gets right there, he gets it, and then he's going to get it one more time right there.
So we'll keep you apprised of the condition of Faulk as Tampa Bay now on 2nd and 10, trying to get it out of the end zone. And a dangerous pass off the fingertips of Michael Pittman, 3rd down.
And this is a big play right here. I mean, they have to, even if they don't get a first down, you'd like to get about 5 more yards just to give your punter some more room, because if the Rams can stop them here, and with this explosive offense they have, they're going to have very, very good field position. So this is a big play for Tampa Bay. I mean, if Tampa Bay can get a first down here, that'd be big. If the Rams can stop them here, they're going to get the ball with good field position.
3rd and 10 from the 4, and starting before the snap was Keyshawn Johnson. You could see him coming off the line of scrimmage, half the distance.
Prior to the snap, false start, 19, offense, Still third down.
You were right. Now, the reason that this is so big is the punter is 15 yards back from the snapper. So the ball's on the 2 and the end zone is 10 yards. So that's only 12. So you always want your punter to have at least that 15. So the first thing they better do here, the Buccaneers, is get 3 more yards.
And they lost on opening day when Tupa couldn't punt out of the end zone because he would have had it blocked. Johnson rolling to buy time, and they get a little bit of room, so at least Tupa will not be backed up to the back of the end zone as Pittman makes the catch. And John, I look at John Gruden, and he may not be wearing the silver and black, but he brought all of those facial expressions, all of those contortions to Tampa.
Oh yeah, I mean you bring what you got, and that's that's what he got. But all his stuff, I think there's a little more sweat down here than he had in Oakland.
Tampa in his background, his father, now a scout for the 49ers, was on John McKay's staff for the Bucs years ago. Tupa's kick will go out of bounds in Tampa territory. They'll mark it at the 48. 8:14 left in the half after a 39-yard kick. And the Rams trying to get healthy in Tampa, up by a point. This scene just about a minute ago. Marshall Faulk on his way back to the locker room. And we'll have a report in just a minute. Melissa Stark is on the case. And we'll get the latest on Marshall Faulk. In the meantime, as the Rams take over after the Tampa punt at the 48-yard line, Trunk Candidate is the sole back in this set from the 48. Kurt Warner throws. Catch made by Ernie Conwell. And Melissa, what do you know?
Well, you just saw the NFL MVP from 2 seasons ago going into the locker room. Official word from the team, a neck strain. He's inside the locker room right now. They're testing it out. We'll keep you posted, Al. He's a man that Warren Sapp said has no weaknesses.
He doesn't, and what a loss that would be. So a neck strain, at least for the moment. Penalty on the last play.
Well, you know, it even changes the Tampa Bay defense because every player you talk to.
Defense. That's an automatic first down.
Brian Kelly.
Every player you'd talk to on this Buck defense, they'd say the first thing we have to do, we have to stop Marshall Faulk. Just take Marshall Faulk out of the game, and they don't mean that way, but I mean just take him out and then make Kurt Warner, the offensive line, the wide receivers beat you with the passing game.
So they have Candidate behind him, and then a rookie third-round draft choice, Lamar Gordon, is the other running back. Kid out of North Dakota State. From the 43 after the first down on the defensive holding call, a little floater, and that's Trunk Candidate making the catch for a gain of about 4. Faulk in his 46 games as a Ram after the trade from Indianapolis. Take a look at that from 99 on. The most yards from scrimmage, that's rushing and receiving, in history. And the most touchdowns over a 46-game span held by Emmitt Smith, 64 back in the mid-90s, and Marshall with 62.
You know, and all those numbers that he has are very, very impressive. But one of the most impressive things about Marshall Faulk is he's unselfish. And if he gets the ball, fine. If he doesn't, he'll do the other things just as well.
And this is something the Rams have been doing for years. They don't mind burning timeouts in the first half, and they've just burned their second. But even Mike Martz looks a little perplexed at that call. Marshall Faulk, how valuable is he? Well, who better to go to than that man, number 99?
The best maybe ever. Hands down. Always the one thing I always say when somebody asks me how good is somebody, I always say, what's their weaknesses? There's no weakness in Marshall's game. He picks up the blitz, he spot reads, he catches, he runs inside, he runs outside, he runs for power, he runs for speed. He does it all. Complete back.
Little doubt about that. Little doubt that Marshall Faulk will someday be in the Hall of Fame. I think people forget he was pretty good at Indianapolis. He was really good at San Diego State. He's been good for a long time.
And I think that's why he's unselfish because, you know, as he'll tell you, he was good at Indianapolis, but they weren't good. And if you don't win, it's no fun. And he came here and with the Rams and going to Super Bowls and being MVP and winning, you know, is the greatest thing to him. The team is a big thing to Marshall Faulk.
2nd and 5, and Warner, after a little spinorama, hits Terrence Wilkins, another former Colt, and that's a first down to the 28-yard line.
a quarterback that doesn't run. I mean, we've been used to seeing Donovan McNabb last week, and the things that he can do. You have to be able to just have a little move, as you call it, a pirouette, a twister, or some little move. You fake, you do a little rollout, a little bootleg, those kinds of things, so that you're not just a stationary target in the pocket in one spot all the time.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Warner throws, and that's caught. Big night for Torrey Holt. Picks up about 9, and Torrey Holt has already caught 6 for 78 yards.
Well, what Tampa Bay defense does is they're going to take away the deep stuff, and they're going to make him hit those underneath stuff. I mean, you see, they have the safeties, and they're going to play here. Here's their cover 2, their corners up here. But they keep these guys deep, so you aren't going to get deep. But as they vacate these areas, you have to hit them in those areas in front of the safeties and linebackers.
2nd and 1. Warner has completed 12, but none to Isaac Bruce, and that one is almost intercepted. He tried to get it to Ricky Prohl in the end zone, and Shelton Quarles was able to break up the play.
You see what Kurt Warner has to do. One thing when you call play, for years quarterbacks didn't wear mouthpieces, but when you wear a mouthpiece, you have to take it out every time after you throw a pass. Now, that one there wasn't a spiral, and maybe wasn't a very good decision either. Oh. That was throwing one into double coverage, but sometimes, he's so accurate and he has so much confidence that he will do that.
He's lucky Quarles at his back to the play. 3rd down and 1, and they give the ball to Trunk Candidate, and he is able to burrow his way for the 1st down. Of course, a lot of folks think that Warner, especially after 2 losses, is still bothered by the thumb injury. He refutes it. How does handshake feel last night?
Well, the handshake, I gave him the old handshake test, because when his thumb was bad, I remember he'd come into the meeting and he used to have this sleeve on his thumb, and he'd always go, don't touch the hand, don't touch the thumb. So last night he throws it out there. How you doing? So I gave him, the old squeeze to figure, this is a test, because I think he's okay. He says he's okay. Mike Martz says he's okay, and I gave him the old handshake test, and he passed it.
You could have put him on the questionable list if there was a problem. Yeah, Candidate to the outside, and he gets taken out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
And you don't want to do that too much, but I do remember when his thumb was bad. As I said, he always had a protective thing on it, and he really wouldn't shake hands and those kinds of things. But last night he did. He said he's fine, and I believe him and believe that he is. I mean, he throws some wobblers, but he's pretty doggone accurate with those wobblers, isn't he?
Especially in the red zone, as you can see there, almost 3 or 4 passes completed inside the 20. Right now he's at the 16-yard line. 2nd down and 9. 4:45 to go in the half. Rams on top by a point. And Faulk in the locker room. And that's intercepted. Picked off. Simeon Rice, the defensive end, with the interception, and gets it out to the 45.
One thing about Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator of these Buccaneers, he is going to change up his defenses. He's going to change up the guys that he rushes, and he's going to change up the guys that he drops. Simeon Rice is the end. He's right here on the end of the line of scrimmage, and you see him drop. He drops out in coverage. Now, Kurt Warner doesn't expect that. He looks out to his left. He sees Simeon Rice down in the stance. Simeon Rice comes out of his stance and goes back there to take away that slant. And there's no way that Kurt Warner anticipated that or saw that. That's a heck of a call.
Asked John Gruden last night what has to happen defensively. He said one of the things is Simeon Rice has to have a big night. I'm sure he wasn't thinking about an interception, though. That's a bonus. And this is Michael Pittman.
Yeah, you always wonder about those zone dogs when you see those defensive linemen dropping out, and sometimes they get out in space and they look kind of stupid. There's Monty Kiffin, the old defensive coordinator, but when they do something like that, when they get in the stance and then fake it and then come back out and get an interception, you say, boy, that old Monty Kiffin sure is a smart coach.
Second interception of Simeon Rice's career. The other came when he was with the Cardinals in '97. 2nd and 1, and whistle before the snap. Johnny
Prior
Greer.
to the snap, False start, number 71, offense. Still second down.
Kerry Jenkins takes him from 2nd and 1 to 2nd and 6. Michigan 14th ranked, taking on Illinois. That's the primary attraction on Saturday of the regional action. You can see it right there, including Stanford and Arizona State out west. ABC Sports, the classic college football.
And Simeon Rice, who just intercepted that ball, played his college football at Illinois.
He did. In Champaign, 2nd down and 6 from the 48. Pittman. Rams converge on him, and Pittman can only get to the 50-yard line, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 4, tackled by the rookie Robert Thomas.
They really like Robert Thomas. I mean, they were, you know, they moved around their linebackers, and Jamie Duncan, who was a starting middle linebacker who they got from the Bucs, was having trouble with his hands, and he wasn't tackling well, so they moved him out, and they moved Robert Thomas as a starter and Tommy Polley as a starter, and Don Davis, who used to play for the Bucs, they moved him from the outside strong side linebacker to starting middle linebacker.
3rd and 4. Johnson to the outside, caught, 1st down. Keenan McCardell got position on Aeneas Williams, moves the chains. And there's a flag down, and it's against Tampa Bay, a trip.
That had to be a trip in the pass protection. Because the pass protection I thought was pretty good. I mean, he was getting some pressure from his left right at the end.
Number 71, offense.
Ooh.
Still 3rd down.
Back-to-back penalties on Jenkins.
Yeah, Kerry Jenkins is the left guard, number 71. Oh, right there. Yeah, that was the old Brogan up in the gut area. And watch him here from, this is what the umpire sees. Whoop. He just sees that heel come up and defender go down.
And the flag out, and 3rd and 14 now as Johnson takes a deep drop, goes deep downfield inside the 40-yard line. Caught! Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn Johnson is something tonight, isn't he?
Wow.
Look at Brad Johnson, Keyshawn Johnson, John Gruden. Watch Keyshawn on this shot here. Watch how he gets right down on the ball. And again, he has the ball in both hands. Now, that's the old thing, 1 knee equals 2 feet. You say, was his feet in bounds? If he gets the ball and 1 knee down before he goes out, he's in bounds. Well, he has the ball and the right knee is down, so he was in. I don't think that this would be a challengeable type of thing. It would be challengeable.
Yeah.
I don't think they will challenge.
And March can take his time to think about the challenge because we've come to the 2-minute warning. Coming up on the Toyota Halftime Show, the debut of our new feature, Monday Night Legends. Tonight, Bo Jackson and his unforgettable performance from 1987.
Obviously, offense means heroes, and heroes mean the good guys. So this was a classic clash between Bo the hero and Boz the evil man.
And a live interview with Bo as well coming up at the half. As on 1st down, Todd Yoder makes the catch. The tight end who made a big special teams play earlier takes the ball inside the 25.
I tell you, this Tampa Bay offensive line is doing a job. You know, we talked about it the first week they didn't, and then they made some changes. They got Kenyatta Walker, who wasn't even active the first week. Moved him from left to right tackle. Cozy Coleman was injured. Brought him back. The veteran Jeff Christie still there. Kerry Jenkins and Robin Oben play on the left side, but they had to play well tonight, and I'll tell you, they are protecting Brad Johnson.
From the 23, back to the ground they go. Pittman, hard, tough running inside the 10 to make it a 1st and goal. They set off the cannons because they're at the other end of the field, and the pirate ship guys must have thought he got into the end zone, but he's just inside the 10.
I'll tell you, that was some run out by Pittman. I think that John Gruden was waiting for him to unleash some of that, you know, to get well, to run not only with quickness, but use that power. We talked about how strong he is in that upper body, and on that play right there, he showed it. It took like 6 Rams to get him down.
Tampa Bay takes a timeout, their first 2 remaining. Cannons to the left, cannons to the right. I mean, the pirate ship people who set off those cannons in the north end zone, and they're a long way from the action here, so when they saw Pittman go down the field, they thought he went into the end zone.
Well, I think maybe they give you a double dip. You know, they put those red flags up when they get inside the red zone. I think, you know, they've scored so little here in Tampa that once they get inside the 20, I think whether they get excited or start to get excited, I think that's what happened when they get inside the 20-yard line.
You get a burst from a 1st and goal these days.
Right, and then as they cross the goal line, there's going to be big cannons.
They'll try to do it here. Get ready for the cannons. Touchdown, Ricky Dudley. Gruden not happy with his tight end play. Got Dudley last week.
Here's Dudley right here. You see he's playing with 2 tight ends. Dudley was the outside of the 2 tight ends. He runs a corner, and there was no Ram defender there. But it all starts right here. You have to get the pass protection. You have to form a pocket so that Brad Johnson can get back, see, and make that throw.
Dramatica for the point after, and so the interception by Warner is costly. After the interception by Rice, the run back to his own 44. They go 56 yards. Dudley, the former Raider, who got cut by the Browns earlier this summer, comes into Tampa and puts the Buccaneers on top with 57 seconds to play in the opening half. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Madden NFL 2003 from EA Sports. It's in the game. Ford, no boundaries. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. And Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
I think in the first 2 games that this John Gruden offense, his form of the West Coast offense was really a work in progress, and he wasn't satisfied with it. And he thought that maybe they got a little better last week, although they didn't score an offensive touchdown. But he said they had a real good week of practice this week, and you can see it's still a work in progress, but the work is really going pretty well.
Very well. 161 yards for Johnson through the air tonight. They have 161 in the air and only 26 on the ground.
What about John Gruden? He's a great play caller. Mike Martz is too. We have 2 good head coach play callers in this game.
Short kick, one of the up men takes it. That is Brandon Manu Maliuna, the tight end, who takes it back to the 35. So all of a sudden, a lot of nervousness begins to set in St. Louis. The team is 0-2. They're down here by 6, and Marshall Faulk has a neck strain and has been in the locker room since the 7-minute mark of the second period.
You know, and that's the biggest thing, Marshall Faulk's injury. I think you know, being 0-2, even being 0-3, I think the Rams would be okay because of the division you're in. I mean, they have to win the division, but you look in their division, the 49ers, and they're not a strong machine right now. Arizona isn't, and Seattle isn't. So I don't think that this Ram team has to panic.
That is Stecker, Aaron Stecker, who is shaken up. You know, we were talking about divisions. The interesting thing, I think, John, is the fact that Tampa figured to benefit more than any other team from divisional realignment because they go into the NFC South with New Orleans, Atlanta, and Carolina. And then all of a sudden, if they go to 1-2, they're 2 games behind Carolina, and they're 2 games behind New Orleans, a team they've already lost to. Go figure.
Who would have thought that? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that looked like, okay, that's a weak division, but I mean, Carolina has to be the biggest surprise in the NFL, and I think New Orleans is for real. I mean, they're not like the team at the end of last year, but they're like the team they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, here comes Stecker. Oh, sure. I mean, when you go on the road, albeit in Champaign, as he favors his shoulder coming off, as New Orleans did yesterday, fall behind 20-0 and win the game. That's a big-time win.
You know, but I think that's the way football is today. You know, it used to be that if you'd get behind the Chicago Bears in Chicago by 20 points, you're going to lose the game. But
sure.
Now, the way, you know, I mean, the pass is a thing, spread them out, open it up, throw every down. I don't think any lead is safe, and I don't think you're out of any game.
From the 34-yard line, Kurt Warner throwing the 1,500th pass of his career, and it's one he'd like to forget. because Warren Sapp got a piece of the ball in his arm.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. You know, they always talk about this defense and this, you know, cover 2 and it gives the Rams trouble. This is what gives the Rams trouble. This 3-man rush here. I mean, this rush. Warren Sapp is the thing. I mean, he's the thing that just gives you trouble. It's only 3 men. They're dropping 8. But I tell you, he just goes right around John St. Clair like he's not even there. And Warren Sapp is probably the most dominating defensive lineman in football.
Corner blitz. They pick Barber up, and then that's tipped. And it is intercepted, but the play was whistled dead. It's so noisy in here. The play was whistled dead before the snap.
And I'll tell you, Warren Sapp went right around John St. Clair again on that play.
Number 81, offense. Still second down.
Torrey Holt.
Warren Sapp found someplace that he likes. He's usually in there at tackle where the center and the guard or the guard and tackle are doubling him. Now he's able to get out there on an edge on John St. Clair on a tackle and just one-on-one pass rush, and he's beaten St. Clair the last 2 plays. Again, you see the Bucs just using a 3-man defensive line, and they're going to make them throw everything in front of them.
Rams have only 1 timeout. Here comes Sapp, but Warner is able to evade him, and then the catch is made out here by Isaac Bruce, and that's the first catch Bruce makes tonight. 13 completions for Warner, and it's the first time he's gone to Isaac Isidore Bruce.
Yeah, but Isaac Bruce knows there's a lot more to come. Watch Warren Sapp out here. We're talking about him working on the outside on John St. Clair, and he's just too quick and fast. I mean, he just gets the outside shoulder of St. Clair, and if there's not someone there like Tom Newton, the left guard, to help, Warren Sapp is going to have Kurt Warner. Of course, now he needs some oxygen.
Sapp is sacked. 3rd down and 3 from the 41-yard line. 3-man rush, pressure. Warner goes down, but he gets the pass away, and it's caught by Prohl up at the 45-yard line. But again, they're down to only 1 timeout. That's a first down. The Rams, as they're prone to do, using timeouts in the first half earlier, and now they're paying a little bit of a price for it. Trying to get into field goal range. Warner dropped as he throws, picked off at the 25-yard line. This is Dexter Jackson. There's a flag down on the run back, and Jackson is down at the 45-yard line. Simeon Rice that time really banged into Warner.
Simeon Rice just leveled Kurt Warner. He came from the right defensive side, which would be Kurt Warner's backside, and it looked like Kurt Warner just turned when he got there. Here's Simeon Rice on the right side, and you see that he's going to run out. He starts up the field, then he goes back in.
Number 80, offense. The penalties decline. That's the end of the first half.
Anyway, he went back in, and he hit Kurt Warner just as he threw that ball.
13-7, the Bucs lead. A look back at Bo Jackson, his career, a live interview with the great Bo coming up on the Toyota halftime show. And we'll return to Tampa after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
The Toyota halftime show, brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling. Here now, Al Michaels.
Tampa Bay taking the lead at the end of the first half, and the Rams are trying to avoid going to 0-3. Halftime score from Raymond James Stadium is 13-7 Buccaneers. Well, this is the 33rd season of Monday Night Football. Almost 500 games have been played on Monday night, and some unbelievably memorable games and moments. So tonight, a new feature, Monday Night Football Legends. Who better to start with than Bo Jackson? 1987, the Kingdome in Seattle. Remember?
After completing his rookie season with baseball's Kansas City Royals, Bo Jackson decided to give pro football a go. He joined the Raiders in late October, and 5 weeks later made his Monday night debut.
Jackson in motion. Give it to Bo.
Here's a guy that has the speed to run around you or run over you. I don't think there's ever been another guy like that in the National Football League with that size and speed.
Adding to the blossoming legend was another larger-than-life character, Brian Bosworth, number 55.
This was the classic clash between good versus evil. The offense means heroes, and heroes mean the good guys. So this was a clash between Bo the hero and Boz the evil man.
Here's Bo, and here goes Bo for the touchdown.
I never really understood the big deal about that particular play because there was no major collision. There was no birds flying around my head and going, where am I again? I think it was more punctuation on Bo's fabulous night. Suddenly he's a superstar.
And it's Jackson to the 40. Look out. And every time he gets the ball, there's going to be that sense of anticipation. Here I go again on my own. To the 20 and out in front. And down the only road I've ever known. Can't run him down. I ain't wasting no more time.
You know, it was one of those type of reactions.
This is the one in my mind that's the highlight of Monday Night Football. When he cleared that corner and he hit the 50-yard marker, he hit another gear that I had not seen any player ever hit. I don't think I've ever seen a player hit it since then. At that point in time, I said, I am not catching this cat. This guy's got 6 motors, and I think I see smoke coming out of his heels.
Ultimately, Bo Jackson ran for 221 yards, a Monday night record that still stands.
On that particular Monday night, there was no bigger game during the whole season. That day was the greatest day of his life in the NFL.
And why not wrap up the piece with a live interview? There is Bo, and we'll talk with him when we come back. Halftime here, 13-7 Bucs.
There is no formula for engineering a smooth-riding 5-link rear suspension. No instructions for designing a superior multi-alloy steel safety cage or the ideal 8-passenger interior. After all, you can't follow old directions when you're forging new ones. The full-size Toyota Sequoia. It's unlike anything you've experienced.
ABC Wednesday at 8, 7 Central. Check it out, guys. Look what's coming. Damon Wayans stars in the season premiere of My Wife and Kids. Then at 9, 8 Central, imagine dating 25 beautiful women in one night. It's the season premiere of The Bachelor. And at 10, 9 Central, he fought in Bosnia. He fought in Black Hawk Down. Now these doctors are fighting the system to save lives.
Try not to let arbitrary rules get in the way of helping patients.
The premiere of MDs. It's an all-night Bachelor Day party. Wednesday, starting at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Halftime, Tampa Bay leading St. Louis 13-7. In fact, the Tampa Bay's #1 pick in 1986, people forget, was a man named Bo Jackson, who is joining us tonight, part of our Monday Night Football Legends feature from a hunting lodge where he's hunting pheasant in South Dakota. Bo, great to have you with us tonight. We just looked, of course, at that great run on Monday night at the Kingdome. 15 years later, what do you think of when you think about that night?
To be honest with you, Al, I really don't think about that. And whenever I do, someone reminds me of it, and the first thing that I think about is that it was my birthday on that night. And not only that, I found out the day before that my wife was pregnant with our second child.
Well, nobody who saw that will ever forget it. Nobody who saw you play baseball will ever forget that. As you look back, what did you enjoy more? What did you derive the most pleasure from, baseball or football?
I think back then, whichever sport was in season, that's what I enjoyed most. I never tried to overlap both sports in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If it was 95 degrees and I had a baseball bat in my hand, that's what I enjoyed. If it was 62 degrees and wherever with the football helmet on, that's what I enjoyed at that point in time.
Your career, of course, was shortened far too prematurely when you were tackled in a playoff game between the Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals in the early 90s. It led to a number of ailments. It led to the early retirement. Do you at all right now, do you feel at all shortchanged by what happened?
Al, if I said yes, I would be lying. I think the man upstairs put obstacles in everyone's paths just to see if they can overcome them. And if it wasn't for that play that night at that particular time, I wouldn't be
the person that I am now. So no, I have no regrets about what happened in my past. I feel that I've lived my athletic life to the fullest, and I wouldn't go back and change a thing.
Which leads us, Bo, to the present. Of course, years ago, you were omnipresent. You were everywhere, baseball and football, a legendary figure. The Bo Knows advertising campaign. So, Bo Jackson in the year 2002, what are you doing these days?
Al, I'm trying to be a successful businessman. Right now, I have a company that's called Ingenuity, and under that cap, I have a couple of businesses that I own, which is I'm in the food business. I produce and manufacture nutritional bars called Bo Jackson Better Bars, and I also have a food line of desserts through Mrs. Smith's Bakeries out of Swanee, Georgia. My nutritional bars are being distributed throughout the country by Cisco Foods. And also under that Ingenuity cap, I have a staffing company in which my company is able to place employees all over the country in any field.
You sound like a happy man. We're happy for you. And again, thanks for the memories. I mean, it was just, every time I think of that play and I look at that play in '87, I mean, that's what Monday night has been all about for 33 years, memories like that. Bo, great to talk with you.
Thank you, Al, very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Bo Jackson visiting with us from South Dakota. Second half coming up here with Tampa Bay leading 13-7. Back in Tampa, Al Michaels, John Madden, and Melissa Stark on this September Monday evening, week 3 climaxing. And Marshall Faulk with the neck strain, who didn't play in the second quarter from about the 7-minute mark on, has the helmet on, is back on the sideline, ready to come in with Grammatica kicking off to the Rams. Terrence Wilkins tripped up back at the 17. Good play by Dwight Smith. The update on Faulk. Let's go to Melissa.
Well, Al, it's pretty surprising that he's out here. I just talked to Mike Martz about him, and he said that the x-rays at halftime were negative, that there are no broken bones, but that his neck is very sore, very tender, and that he obviously would not return in the second half, that he was going to have a CAT scan later tonight before the team headed back. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
So Mike tells you that. Candidate, meanwhile, is in the game. John, it looks to me as if Marshall wants to do anything to get back into the game.
I've always thought when a guy put his helmet on and his chin strap on and has his mouthpiece ready, that he's ready to go. But if the coach says you can't go, you're not going to go until he says so.
Here's Warner now. His first pass of the second half, a beauty. Right on the numbers to Isaac Bruce up to the 40-yard line. First down tackled by Brooks, gain of 22. Tampa Bay taking the lead at the end of the half. Very similar numbers except for the turnovers.
Neither team was able to run the ball, and as you say, that big thing, remember Simeon Rice, he intercepts that pass on his own dog, and then with that the Buccaneers went in and scored after they got the ball.
That second turnover came at the end of the half. The first one was costly. Now they run a reverse, and this is Terrence Wilkins with a little bit of room to roam, but they close quickly, and Ron D. Barber comes up to trip him up.
Mike Martz is trying to get Terrence Wilkins to do some of those things that Oz Hakeem did. You know, play that slot, run those reverses and options and those kinds of things. And he really hasn't fit into this offense yet, and that's why, you know, that Ricky Prohl had to become the third wide receiver, but then Ricky Prohl can't do the things that Oz Hakeem could do, and Terrence Wilkins isn't ready to do the things that Oz Hakeem could do.
And of course, Bruce and Holt are the big men. Holt has caught 6 tonight. Isaac's caught 2, and that pass is incomplete. Torrey Holt off his fingertips. Errant throw, 3rd down 8.
And they're trying to throw Kurt Warner's timing off, you know, because he is a rhythm guy and he throws in windows and those kinds of things. So So the Bucs are really mixing up. I mean, they're going there, you know, they're cover 2, they're going cover 3, they're bringing some blitzes as they did on that last play just to make Kurt Warner get rid of the ball before he's ready to.
Monte Kiffin's defense facing a 3rd and 8 from the 42-yard line. They have to get to midfield to convert. Warner throws, caught. Holt came back and then does get the first down. Caught it at about the 50, then came back and was able to reach over and pick up the first.
It was looked like one of those things that he didn't know what he was doing, but then he did know what he was doing.
Highest career pass rating through Sunday's games. Let's take a look at this. Steve Young, Joe Montana, Jeff Garcia, 1, 2, 3, the 349 of quarterbacks. But now there's a new leader, and the reason it took him this long to get there is there's a minimum number of passes that have to be thrown. That's 1,500. And once he threw that 1,500th pass at the end of the first half tonight, Warner moved to the top of that very elite list. And then he moves to the bottom of Warren Sapp's list at the 40-yard line. Warren says, I'm not interested in any stuff like that.
It's just a matter of time. And, you know, we were talking about that earlier, that they say it's his defense, it's his cover 2. What a big part of it is these guys, the Bucs can get pressure on you from Warren Sapp, from their front guys, without having to blitz. And that's big. When they can bring 4 guys and cover you with 7 and get there with their 4 guys, that is big. Then you can do a heck of a lot of things on defense. And Warren Sapp is just so big and so quick and so strong and such a good athlete.
5th time he sacked Warner in the last 3 Monday night meetings, and this is candidate up to the 48. That was an 11-yard sack for Warren Sapp. And the Bucs have now had a sack in 47 consecutive games, or the equivalent of almost 3 full seasons.
And you see that new look he has, that ball look. He says that makes him a little faster. He used to have those dreadlocks. He said, then when they started sewing them instead of growing them, he went bald. That upset me because they were hard to grow, they were hard to take care of, and he was growing them. Then he said, guys, start sewing them on. He said, then that was time for me to get my hat and go bald.
He is a funny dude. He and Shannon Sharp should do like a duo on the Comedy Channel. Warner throws, and it is a leaping non-grab. No, Isaac Bruce leaping for it. Came down, it appeared for the moment with it, and then it got dislodged.
I'll tell you, and Warren Sapp got so much penetration there, and he had 3 guys on him, 2 offensive linemen and a running back, and Isaac Bruce just drops that. I mean, that's a perfect pass. Now again, if that goes down and he had control of it, when that ball hit the ground, that would have been a complete pass. Of course, you see the ball bounce out there, so he didn't. But Kurt Warner, did you see him? He just took about 3 steps and launched that thing like a javelin.
And now Mitch Berger will try to launch this punt. More likely try to corner it. Instead, he does boot it straight downfield to Carl Williams, who takes it inside the 6, which is normally not what you want to do. A flag is thrown. Archuleta takes him out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
We're seeing more and more of starters playing on special teams. There's been so many big plays on special teams that a lot of these clubs have started to use their better players on special teams.
There are 2 flags on the play, one at about the 42, the other at the 22.
I'll tell you, at the end of that first half, Kurt Warner really took some shots.
He did.
That last one, just the last play of the first half, Simeon Rice really hit him.
On the play, holding number 27 of the receiving team during the return will be declined. Holding number 51 of the receiving team during the kick will be penalized from the spot where possession changed.
Both against Tampa, pinning the Bucs deep inside their 5 at the 3, in fact, with 11:17 left in the 3rd. The bright lights. How have the Stars been doing tonight? Good first half for Brad Johnson. Pittman with 26 yards rushing, and Keyshawn 4 grabs for 59. And now the Bucs, after the punt, after the penalties, are back at their 3. Pittman tries to give them some room and can't. Jamie Duncan makes the hit. Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, John Gruden said he really wants to commit to the run in the second half, just 26 rushing yards in the first half, but he's very concerned about the loss of guard Kerry Jenkins, one of their offseason acquisitions this year from the Jets. He had x-rays at halftime. He has a broken left fibula. He's out for the rest of the game. Todd Washington takes his spot in the lineup.
Yeah, Washington, fifth-year guy out of Virginia Tech. So Jenkins, who was penalized twice, once on that leg whip with a broken fibula.
He could have broken his fibula on that leg whip.
I'm thinking the same thing. Here's Johnson out to Pittman. The play selection in the first half was 3-1 pass for Tampa Bay. So Melissa talking about Gruden wanting to establish the run, but unable to do so with Pittman. And of course, Allstott's the fullback, gets the carry once in a while.
I would question why. I mean, there's John Gruden's play chart there, and the ones in red, those are the ones he really likes. And you know, he started as an assistant. Well, I mean, he started as an assistant a long time ago. But when he was with Mike Holmgren at Green Bay, he used to type the play sheet, and then he started typing it. And then he always typed it. He typed it when he was a coordinator at Philadelphia, and he still types as a head coach.
3rd and 7, a little dangerous pass right there as Johnson was on his way to getting sacked in the end zone. Tyoka Jackson put the pressure on, and it's 4th down.
And none of those plays work too well on that
No.
thing. You know, there's sometimes you want to do things, but the field position is just so bad. You want to just kind of get out of trouble. And you know, and he passed early. Now he'd like to go to the run, but he would like the field position that goes with those kinds of things.
Instead, the Rams figure to get good field position here. Tom Tupa, good deep high punt, fielded 44 by Terrence Wilkins, and he comes back to the 50-yard line. Rams have it at midfield with under 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Tampa Bay leading St. Louis 13-7. Three and out for Tampa Bay inside their 5-yard line, and now the Rams have it. Advantageous field position at the 50-yard line. Marshall Faulk, I think, resigned to the fact right now that March isn't going to put him in. Helmet off, chin strap unbuckled. Trunk candidate in the backfield at the 50-yard line, 1st down. Caught. Holt, 5-yard pickup for Torrey Holt, who's caught 8 tonight for 92 yards. The Rams, who had their first lead of the season earlier tonight, under Martz, and he was an assistant in '99, head coach 2000-2001, 32.6 points per game, but thus far 18.5 per game and 80 fewer yards per game this season. So still trying to really get on track. Though that first drive tonight was a beauty, 91 yards. 2nd and 4, sat chasing candidate, and then Dwight Smith comes up from the corner to knock him down.
You know, that's the thing with the Rams is they're not running the ball well. They're not running the ball enough. And I'll tell you, in just watching film of the first 2 games, Kurt Warner's taken too many hits. And you know, he did even in that first half. And now everyone tries to make the Rams one-dimensional. You try and get Marshall Faulk out of the game. Remember the Patriots did that in the Super Bowl, and everyone does that. Now they have Marshall Faulk out of the game, and this whole thing goes on Kurt Warner's shoulders.
No question. 3rd down and 6. 8.5 to play in the 3rd. Warner out of the pocket, tackled from behind. He's short of the 1st down, though. Chartrick Darby, 91, stops him.
And that's one of the things about this Buck defense and Ram defense too is all those defensive linemen are taught that when a guy starts to scramble, you turn and run. Now, this is a situation here where they're going to have to punt. I mean, they're too far for a field goal, and they don't really have the running game, to be honest. They don't have that lead blocker. They don't have that power thing to pick up a short yardage play. And you say, why don't they go for it on 4th down? Because they really don't have the personnel. Now, if they had James Hodgins in there, you know, their lead fullback, and they had Marshall Faulk, maybe, but not with this group.
Pooch punt here from Berger. It's a high floating kick. It bounces at the 7, but then has too much overspin on it. He was able to stop one on a dime before, but this one spins into the end zone. And the ball comes out to the 20. 7:27 left in the 3rd. Bucs by 6. Last week, 21 million viewers discovered the new John Ritter comedy, 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. Tomorrow, see why it's the #1 new comedy of the season, right here on ABC at 8 Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central and Mountain. The Bucs 1-1 on the season. The Rams 0-2. Tampa up by 6 on first down. Johnson throws, caught by Pittman. Tries to get a first down. We'll see where they spotted very close. Aeneas Williams makes the hit.
That's that thing, we always talk about cover 2 because both of these teams use cover 2 where the safeties are deep and the corner's up. Now, if a sweep comes out there or a short pass, then that corner is a force man. And to play this coverage, your corners have to be pretty good tacklers.
It is a first down. Nose of the ball on the chalk, and that's all it takes, even though the center net tips it up. You can see where the nose is right there. On the stripe from the 30-yard line. Johnson hit as he throws, coming in from behind and knocking him down. Grant Wistrom.
And that's what they have to do to Brad Johnson. I mean, all night the Bucs have been getting pressure on Kurt Warner, and Brad Johnson hasn't had a lot of pressure. But here's Grant Wistrom, and you see him come up to the outside, and he just runs right by Robin Oben. And that's what he can do.
QB comparison, very well. I was started to say similar numbers, except for the 2 picks by Warner, so his QB rating far under what Johnson's is. But Johnson doing a very efficient job tonight, per usual. Set up the screen, and they screen it to Dudley, who scored the touchdown earlier, and he takes it up to the 36. And I'm thinking about Brad Johnson, John, and it's such a typical game. I mean, through his career, completion percentage high, but he's only averaged 11.1 yards per completion in his career. That's pretty low. Tonight, the same sort of numbers.
Yeah, because he's not going to take a lot of sacks. He's going to get rid of the ball. He's going to manage the game, and he's a very smart player. I mean, he knows what he can do, and he knows what the offense can do, and he knows what the players around him can do. And the biggest problem with Brad Johnson is he can't run. And in this offense, you'd like to have a quarterback that can run.
His backup can. That's Rob Johnson, the ex-Jaguar and Bill, who backs up Brad. Johnson hit again as he throws and jams it in there, and then the ball is lost. It's incomplete. Incomplete. Keenan McCardell, the receiver, Aeneas Williams came up with it, and now the officials are going to confer to see what the call is going to be.
That was one that they did throw him out of rhythm, that they came on pressure, and they got to Brad Johnson. They made him throw that when he didn't want to, and he threw it into something he didn't see in there. Aeneas Williams is saying he's gotten the ball. He's taking it off the field. I think this is a Rams ball.
Well, the whistle had blown. The question is, did they blow it dead because it was an incompletion? It is ruled, at least for the moment, an interception. Will there be a challenge? Well, they'll have plenty of time to determine that as we go to commercial. There is no challenge yet. This is a fascinating play, but here's Johnny Greer.
Tampa Bay has challenged the ruling on the field that there was an interception.
All right, this is one of the more complicated and interesting calls I think we've ever seen in a challenge situation, because they're going to rule it a completed pass to Keenan McCardell. Then Aeneas Williams will come in and take the ball away. Then there's a whistle that blows just about here. Now the question is, does the whistle blow on the run back because Williams was down by contact, or in Gruden's challenge, is McCardell down with possession before Williams strips the ball? Here's the whistle.
See, what I say is that Aeneas Williams got the ball. Aeneas Williams has the ball when the whistle blows. So the whistle is being blown for Aeneas Williams being down by contact, not McCardell.
The whistle was about maybe a second after the play, but Gruden could be challenging that McCardell was down before Williams was able to extract the ball.
I don't think so. I think Aeneas has that ball out of there before McCardell goes down. And there was no whistle. There was nothing to stop the play until after Aeneas Williams has the ball.
So there's Williams, and he rolls over. It's a fascinating call here because the official is calling him down by contact, but in effect He had taken the ball out.
And you're asking, who did he call down by contact? If he called McCardell down by contact, then of course you can't even challenge the play.
One rump equals 2 feet here too. Now the question is, was his tush down before the ball came out?
Any body part other than the hand.
The St. Louis player took the ball from the Tampa player before he hit the ground. The play stance is called as first down, St. Louis. Tampa Bay is charged with a timeout.
Yeah, that's the way I saw it too.
As close as you can get.
Yeah, I thought that Aeneas Williams did get that ball out of there, and that's what, you know, that's why Aeneas Williams is so good. I mean, he makes those kind of plays. I mean, Mike Martz's team needs a play. You need a momentum changer. You're on the road. You have to. Someone has to come up with a play. It can be special teams. It can be a defense. It can be the type of play that Aeneas Williams just made, and he's been making those kinds of plays for a heck of a long time.
So now the Rams have it at the 39. Candidate is the tailback in the eye. Hetherington is the fullback. And Warner gets leveled by Shelton Quarles. Planted.
And that's where they want to put the pressure. The pressure all night has been coming right into Kurt Warner's face. A lot of time it's been Sapp, it's been McFarland. This time it was number 53. Watch him here. A little delay. He's going to come on the blitz. You see, he waits and waits and waits, and now they commit to their protection, and he just runs right through. I don't know what Chris Hetherington was watching now. I mean, he should have seen that, even though it was a delayed blitz by Quarles.
2nd and 18 from the 47, and there's movement on the left side. It's so loud that Orlando Pace, the Pro Bowl tackle, moved.
False start, number 78. Offense. Still 2nd down.
You know, we were talking about Kurt Warner in the first 2 games, you know, taking too many hits, and then tonight, look at that, 9 quarterback hits. He's been knocked down 4 times, and he's been sacked twice. They have been all over Kurt Warner tonight. And part of that is that the offensive line really isn't in tune, but the bigger part of that is they have no running game, and all the defense has to do is tee off.
Some of those hits are worth like 3 hits, like Quarles right there.
Now Simeon Rice is lining up on this side.
2nd and 23. And Rice helps create the pressure, and then Murphy makes the catch, and a flag comes in at the end of the play, and rightfully so, because Quarles put his shoulder into his face mask.
Yeah, you want to be emotional, you want to be fired up, but you still want to be smart. You know, we just saw that, you know, Simeon Rice usually lines up on the right defensive side. That time he lined up on the left defensive side to get against John St. Clair. The Bucs have kind of been fighting to line up against St. Clair over there. Spires has been on him. Wims has been on him. Warren Sapp has been on him. Simeon Rice.
Now, they may be talking about the fact, was Murphy down? He was down.
Well, if he was down, then the whistle had to blow, and he hit him after he was down.
Well, if he wasn't down, you still have to make the tackle, but they may be saying that it was a personal foul tackle, leading with his helmet. Let's take a look here.
I think it was a personal foul, leading with his helmet, helmet to helmet, late hit, all the above.
Defenseless player too. There's in the rule book a defenseless player, which is what he is at that point.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53, defense. That penalty would be accepted. We have unsportsmanlike conduct, number 34, defense, taking his helmet off. That penalty would be declined. First down.
That's Dexter Jackson.
Why he did that? I mean, you'd think at some point in this league they would learn to keep your hat on while you're on the field of play. I mean, there's been, you go back to Dwayne Rudflay. I mean, there's been enough examples. Don't take your hat off when you're on the field of play.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, there's probably some kind of automatic thing you do, but I mean, that's where you have to be smart. I mean, that's what drives a coach crazy is those types of things. And John Gruden had 2-on-1 play, a late hit, which was a dumb play, and then taking your hat off, which was dumb.
You can lose your head, but you can't lose your hat.
No, and when you do lose your hat, you don't want your head in it.
From the 35. Candidate picks up 4 to the 31. Update on Marshall now. Let's go to Melissa.
Well, Al, remember he strained a muscle in the back of his neck in the middle of the second quarter. Apparently, Mike Martz was incorrect when he told me at halftime that Marshall was going to have a CAT scan after the game tonight. He will have an MRI tomorrow when the team returns to St. Louis.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Marshall on the sideline. Remember, he came out, helmet on, chin strap buckled to start the second half, but Martz said,
And the Rams have a new offensive tackle now. That's Grant Williams playing right tackle for John St. Clair.
2nd and 7. And Warner with a flag thrown, and it was Simeon Rice coming around to knock it down.
And it was Grant Williams. They just put Grant Williams in there, and whoever that right tackle is, everyone wants to get to him tonight. Like I said, they're fighting to get over there. It was St. Clair. He had trouble. They take him out. They put Grant Williams in. They go around him. That's Simeon Rice. He's right here. Here's Grant Williams right here. This is tough when a guy with that kind of speed gets that wide. And he just beats him with his speed. I mean, he puts his right arm under, but he had already beaten him.
77, offense, it's decline. 3rd down.
And the Rams bench informing us that St. Clair actually came out of the game there because he had a strained hip flexor. But now he's back in, so it's unstrained in about a minute and a half.
I think he has to have a strained pride, too, with the way these guys are going around him. Now look at Simeon Rice. He's so fired up. Again, he's staying over in there in this left side. He's always been a right defensive end, but he's found something over here that he's really happy with.
3rd and 14. This time they take him out of the play. Warner steps up, throws into traffic, and it's incomplete. Intended for Ricky Prohl, who was surrounded by white shirts, primarily Dwight Smith.
I'm surprised that, with that 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13, that they didn't try and get about 5 or 10 yards just to get in field goal position. They were in this position that if they don't get the first down, they're going to have to punt, where if they would have picked up another 7 or 8 yards, they could have tried a field goal.
Here's Berger. Not often does a Ram kicker get to punt 4 times in 3 quarters. His 4th punt, high floater. And that one is it stopped at the 1-yard line? Nick Sorensen could not stop it. Almost that close. And it cost them 19 yards. To the 20 they go instead of the 1 as it rolls in. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold down easy. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. UPS, what can Brown do for you? And Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Speaking of horns, the Rams looking 0-3 in the face. Down by 6 here as Tampa starts this drive with a Michael Pittman run around the left side for 2 or 3 yards. Been a passing game tonight on both sides of the ball. Buccaneers 3-1 through the air.
The other thing isn't working too. I mean, you can want to have balance and you can want to run, but if you're not successful running, then you have to go the other way. There's Kurt Warner, lost Marshall Faulk, and now it's all on his shoulders.
2nd and 7. Sack. Ball is loose and recovered by Tampa Bay inside the 10-yard line. Leonard Little created it, and Roman Oben saved it for the Buccaneers.
Leonard Little came from the other side. Oben's the left tackle. He's going to beat Kenyatta Walker, who's a right tackle. You see here, Kenyatta Walker is a right tackle right here. here comes Leonard Little to the outside. It's the guard coming across is who he really beats. They tried to they blocked the tackle down, and they brought Washington across to block him.
Sack and a fumble, 13-yard loss, 3rd down and 20 now from the 10. 4-man rush and a little shovel to Pittman, and that doesn't fool anybody. Leonard Little is right there to make that play, and once again Tupa will have to punt out of the end zone.
Yeah, and that was the same type of protection. Again, they blocked Kenyatta Walker down, and they pulled the offside Todd Washington. He got caught right in the middle of that. Those are things where John Gruden's offense isn't a smooth running machine yet.
No.
But this is the kind of game that Tampa Bay's always played. I mean, you put Tony Dungy in there, you have different coordinators, different head coaches. This is Tampa Bay Buccaneer football.
The way we've known it for years. Tupa's punt rolls to a stop just shy of the 50. So the Rams take over, barely into Buccaneer territory. Sunday, the most anticipated family reunion of the year, as a mother with a secret past meets a daughter who's a secret agent. The Emmy-winning Alias season premiere you'll see this Sunday right here on ABC. You know, John, the Rams had that great first drive, 91 yards, and since then they've been stymied. They have picked up only 101 yards in the second and third quarters.
Which I think shows two things: the strength of this defense,
and an interception almost by Lynch.
I think it shows two things: how strong this Buck defense is, and how valuable Marshall Faulk is. Because this is a totally different offense without Marshall Faulk. And you're going to see here. See, now they keep the fullback in. They're trying to get some extra protection and go play pass. You see, they have a good fake, and here he goes right, and he's trying to throw into this area, but there's 4 white shirts there. I mean, they have him in front, in back, and on both sides.
2nd and 10. Lynch with that near pick, and then another near pick by Derek Brooks, who ran one back 97 yards for a touchdown last week in Baltimore.
I tell you, Kurt Warner is a heck of a quarterback, and he's very accurate. But he has to be in a rhythm, and the Bucs haven't let him get in a rhythm. And what they've done with there's a lot of, here's a 4-man rush, but they've done it with a lot of 3-man rush and just dropping, and he's throwing the ball right now before he wants to. And you just watch Brooks on that play, and he does that. I mean, Derek Brooks is the best at just watching the quarterback's eyes and making a quick move on it.
3rd down and 10. 4-man rush, good protection that time. Pass caught. It's Bruce, but he can't get the first down. Isaac Bruce only to the 42. Rondé Barber, good tackle to trip him up.
Did you ever think you would see this? I mean, this, Isaac Bruce and Holt and Warner, and I mean, there's no fault, but they get great field position. They can't even get a first down. I mean, this is a team that a couple years ago, if you gave them field position like this, boom. I mean, they're in the end zone. And now they can't get past where they start.
Did you ever think you'd see the Ram punter kick 5 times in 3 quarters? This is Berger's 5th kick.
Yeah, and still the Rams with 1 touchdown would be ahead in this game with 1 more.
Berger doing a good job tonight. He's either come close to having it down inside the 10. Crowd wants a penalty, but they won't get one as the fair catch was made, and then there was contact with Carl Williams, but incidental contact. No harm, no foul. Away we go next week, up to Baltimore. Crowd, of course, is responding to it being played back on the screen. It's the Denver Broncos, 3-0, including a victory over these Rams on opening day in Denver against the Baltimore Ravens. Drew the bye this week. Denver and Baltimore next Monday night. Monday Night Football the week after that. Green Bay against the Bears in Champaign, Illinois.
Bears let one get away from them yesterday. They have a 20-point lead to New Orleans. It looked like they were going to run them out of the park.
It's a long night after a game like that. Pittman will end the 3rd quarter with a nice burst through the middle. So we played 45 minutes in Tampa, and the Buccaneers lead the St. Louis Rams 13-7. And Monday Night Football resumes after this from our ABC stations.
American
Sports Center on ESPN follows the game as we come back to Tampa. Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark start the fourth quarter. 13-7 Tampa Bay, and it's a first down for the Bucs from their own 25-yard line. Johnson gives the ball to Pittman, swings out of the backfield, turns it upfield and picks up 9 to the 34-yard line. Don Davis makes the tackle. The Rams, believe it or not, a good come-from-behind team you would think, but 19 straight losses when trailing entering the fourth quarter, the longest streak in the league.
And then this 13-7 looks like a pretty good lead for Tampa Bay, but if you were talking a year ago or 2 years ago, having a 6-point lead on the St. Louis Rams was nothing.
But it is something with Marshall Faulk on the sideline. All stop. First down up to the 41.
And this is the time that you want to use all-stop. You know, is when you get better field position, the defense is starting to get tired, and now you want to pound on them. There's no better running the ball late in the game to pound on you than Mike Allstott.
One of the reasons it might be a little harder to pound right now is Kenyatta Walker is slow in getting up, the right tackle.
But here's a good block right here. Ken Dilger, the tight end. That is a heck of a block. I mean, that's what you want from a tight end. I mean, he just comes in there, lifts his guy up, and puts him on his back. I tell you, John Gruden wanted better play out of his tight ends, and he's gotten it tonight. Not only from Ken Dilger, but we've seen Ricky Dudley make a couple of plays, including a touchdown.
So Walker shaken up, injury timeout. Well, here in Tampa, Kenyatta Walker came limping off. They're down to their last offensive lineman now as Cornell Green goes in at right tackle, 74.
Yeah, they only had 7 offensive linemen active for this game, and now they're down to their 7th.
Well, Jenkins broken fibula earlier. Walker on the bench right now. And Allstott at a point where they'd like to chew up some of the clock. Picks up 1, tackled by Don Davis.
This is what you like to do, you know, is you get a lead, you're at home. That defense has been on the field a lot tonight, that Ram defense, and now you loosen them up because they've pass rushed a lot. You get them a little fatigued, and then you want to run the big back right at them.
I keep thinking about your point, John. It's so true. I mean, new staff, the whole thing, offense and all of that. And here are the Bucs up 13-7.
Yeah.
It's the same old Bucs.
I think the Bucs, 13-7.
Right. 2nd and 8. Pass caught. Dilger. We saw a lot of action earlier, and he gets up to the 49-yard line. Of course, you know, we haven't even touched on the story tonight. A lot of people know John Gruden. Remember, Bill Parcells was going to take the job. He said no. They went out, they interviewed everybody. Marvin Lewis was going to get the job. They rejected him. Steve Mariucci could have had the job. He turned it down.
Yeah,
everybody but you was offered the job.
No, and then they got in a bind. They had to get a guy. And then because they had to get John Gruden, they gave up a heck of a lot. They gave $8 million, as we said earlier, and 2 firsts and 2 seconds to the Raiders to sign John Gruden.
Laser family, the owners of this team, 3rd down and 1. And Johnson hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. It was Grant Wishton coming in from behind. But, you know, it was crazy the way it turned out. Everybody was so excited. First of all, a lot of people were upset that Dungy got fired to begin with. And then Parcells is going to come down, so he's going to be the savior.
Yeah, in fact, at one time, I think Bill Parcells had even hired some staff people and tried to get someone down here, and then something, and that thing fell apart and unraveled, and then the Glazers were really in a bind.
And they wind up with Gruden at 39, still the youngest coach in the league, and that kick goes in to the end zone. And a flag is down back at the 45-yard line.
You know, one thing that's impressed me about this game, and you know, it's 13-7, the tackling is very good. I mean, I think overall in the National Football League, the tackling is not good, and I think it's gone down over the years. But I will say this in this game, in every area, I mean the defensive guys, the special teams guys, the tackling has been very sharp and very crisp. This has been a real hitting game.
An eligible kicking team member downfield, number 56, is declined.
Ball comes out to the 20. That's where the Rams have it. Sapp and the Bucs up by 6. First celebrate 9 great years, then stay tuned for the season legends are made of. NYPD Blue back on tomorrow at 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central and Mountain right here. Well, Faulk done for the night. And the Rams take over now at their own 20 on first down. Fake toss. And then candidate gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
You know, we were talking earlier about Kurt Warner and how he likes to throw in windows. And we're going to see what the windows mean. And the Buck defense has been taking away all these windows. But this is what he has. It's the areas here between the defenders. And he will throw. When his guy's here, he will throw into that window. See, but what they're doing is they're getting him out of that rhythm so that he doesn't have an opportunity to step up and get the ball into those windows. So they're taking away the windows, and then on the other end with the pass rush, they're not letting him step up.
Put louvered blinds on for him. 2nd down and 8 from the 22-yard line. Warner throws, intercepted. That's Brian Kelly, who has very few picks in his career, but a huge one here.
That's the one, and you watch him. He's watching all the way on that one. Brian Kelly's watching Kurt Warner, and Kurt Warner, as we said, has been out of rhythm. But watch Brian Kelly here. He's looking right in at Kurt Warner. So he's gonna. He sees that 3-step drop. He gets a jump, and he just takes trunk candidate, pushes him by, and jumps inside him. Now watch Kurt Warner. He looks all the way. He looked to his right. He never looked in the middle. Never looked in the left. He just looked at Brian Kelly, read it, and got the jump on it, and got in front of trunk candidate. You see him look to the right, and step to the right. Brian Kelly was right there.
I mentioned he very rarely picks off a pass. You always think of Barber with the interceptions. Only Kelly's 4th interception in 67 career games. And Allstott can't get it in. He hasn't picked one off since the 2000 season. But a huge one here as they try to go up by 13.
Well, they were in nickel defense, and they've been, just a 4-down lineman, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. But even Kurt Warner's body language doesn't look the same. I mean, you can just see that I think he's frustrated, and it's more than being frustrated with 0-2. I think it's frustrated with what this defense is doing to him and his Ram teammates.
2nd and goal. Allstott, the back. Allstott with the ball. Barrels his way in. Touchdown.
Cannons all over the place. Watch Mike Allstott right here. He's going to follow the lead of Darian Barnes. He just takes Tommy Polley, and he just pushes him right back into the end zone. You have to win that battle. The linebacker collides with the fullback, and then who wins the battle from that point on? Is it Tommy Polley of the defense, or is it Mike Allstott in the offense?
Bucs call a timeout. When you think about it, you should consider going for 2 here with a 12-point lead.
And I'm sure that's why he called timeout.
That's why he called, exactly. 12-point lead almost compels you to go for 2. And so they use a timeout to get the proper people in.
Watch the strength here of Mike Allstott on Tommy Polley. Right there, there's a collision. Now who wins the battle? Mike Allstott wins the battle. Tommy Polley goes backwards. That's one way. When you're on the goal line and you're on defense, you never want to go backwards into the end zone. Tommy Polley goes backwards into his end zone.
And you definitely don't want to go backwards into the end zone on Monday Night Football.
No, that's one that you have to live with for a while.
And on a small regional, that's one thing.
In your home state.
Yeah.
Polly's one of those, good athletes, quick guys, but not the strongest of linebackers.
2-point conversion from the 2-yard line. Johnson ripped as he throws, and that was busted up by Grant Wistrom. So the lead remains at 12.
I don't even think he saw Grant Wistrom. He was going to bootleg right into it. Watch this.
19-7. Well, in the last couple of weeks, a couple of glamour guys have wound up as the horse trailer player of the game. We had Tom Brady in week 1, Donovan McNabb week 2. I don't know, John. It's too early to pick it, but it's got to come from the Buck defensive unit at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this game has been about tackling and defense and those kinds of things. I think the player or players have to be defensive players.
Flag thrown on the play. It's still a lot of time. 10.5 minutes. Pass to Torrey Holt.
Simeon Rice is pointing because
snap, false start, 84 offense. Still first down.
I was talking about Kurt Warner, Al, not being the same guy tonight. And part of it, I think, is him, and he threw some ducks and so on. But a big part of it was this Buck defense. I mean, they were just all over him, and he's a rhythm guy, and they got him out of rhythm, and he never did get in rhythm all night.
Not after that first drive. That first drive was a beauty. That's Conwell making the catch here. Strained neck at all. Conwell gets it back up to the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 9. Career against the Bucs, including the 11-6 NFC Championship game in '99. 4 touchdowns and 11 picks, and those are unheard of numbers.
Yeah, and I think it's more, I mean, you want to give credit to the scheme, and people say that, they know how to play the Rams, but you better bring their players. And I think it's about, as I said, it's about that middle. It's about Warren Sapp. It's about Derek Brooks. It's about John Lynch. It's about Rondé Barber. It's the players that they have play in this system.
2nd and 9. Pressure again. Warner has to step up. Good coverage by the secondary. And then finding his man underneath, that's Torrey Holt. And that's a first down up at the 43-yard line.
Warren Sapp started out this game with getting penetration. That's a big, you have defensive linemen that, play ends and come from the outside. When you can get in here and raise the havoc that he does inside to a pure drop back passer that's going to stay in the pocket, you really don't let him get started. And that's what Warren Sapp did tonight to Kurt Warner.
Sapp takes a breather. 9-10 left in the 4th. First down at the 43. Holt has caught 9 for 106. Barber comes on a blitz. They pick it up, and the catch is made over the middle by Lamar Gordon, their 3rd-round draft choice out of North Dakota State.
And I've noticed Sapp is faster with the bald head. That aerodynamic thing that you get. He's not taking up as much stuff, and you can just get all your stuff going a little sooner, because that's the first thing that gets there is your head. So you don't need a lot of stuff on your head except your hat.
Warren up off the bench, ready to come back in shortly. 2nd and 3, inside give. The rookie Gordon, who's the number 3 guy on the depth chart, figured not to play at all, of course, with Faulk and then Candidate. And then you have this kid who'd been running back kicks earlier this season.
What's that deal when the cat goes out, the mice come out and play?
Yep.
They take Warren Sapp out, then they start hitting the middle to see what happens. In comes big Warren Sapp again.
He comes back in, and the Rams are going to come back again because there's a flag.
He said, I took a little breather over there on the sideline. I didn't like what happened.
77 offense beyond the line of scrimmage. Still 2nd down.
Grant Williams, the backup tackle.
You're going to see Grant Williams, number 77, there on the left side of your screen. Like they're going to throw the flag right there on his back. Watch him doink. That's adding insult to injury.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know you caught me. You just hit me with the flag.
I mean, you, son. Chilton Quarles back in. 2nd down and 6 here at the 47-yard line. That 10-yard penalty negating a 7-yard gain, and Warner throws. And that's Ricky Prohl, who spins out of a tackle, and then Barber slings him down at the 40-yard line. First down. Rams failing to take advantage of field position, especially here in the second half. Last year in a full season, they only had 7 drives that began at the 50 or in opposition territory. In 3 games this year, they've already had 7. 4 such drives tonight, none of them resulting in any points. And Lamar Gordon takes it to the 37-yard line.
What Mike Martz has to be thinking of here is two touchdown drives. I mean, you can't, when you're down 19-7, you need 2 drives. You have to get in, get a score now, get the ball back, and get another score. So it's not a hurry-up situation yet, but when you need 2 scores, your hurry-up gets to you sooner.
One thing about the Rams, and you don't see it that much because they almost cavalierly use their timeouts, is they do at this point still have all of them. 2nd and 7 at the 37. Floating pass, and Prohl is able to catch it before Kelly knocks him down.
And the Bucs have starting to let Kurt Warner get a little rhythm here. So Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, starts to call a blitz, and this is where he usually does it. You know, he'll play off and he'll play off. And watch this: the minute that you start getting comfortable, he's going to bring a blitz. That time he brings a safety, and the Rams pick it up. I'll tell you, Kurt Warner, I don't think there's anything wrong with his thumb. I really don't, but he's sure having a tough time throwing a spiral.
And he used to throw such pretty passes, and now all of a sudden you're looking at this stuff. And that's a pretty pass. Just when you say it, did he catch it in bounds? No. Isaac Bruce was out of bounds, but a beautifully thrown ball with Brian Kelly covering on it.
You see what that official signaled? He has signaled 1 foot. So he was saying that he caught the ball, but that he only had 1 foot in. Kelly is off. Isaac Bruce closes that gap and then just runs right by him. The ball's right there. I don't think he had 1 foot in, did he?
No.
The right foot comes down out, so that's his first foot. I think both feet were out of bounds, but I think he really ran by Kelly, who had a pretty good cushion on him.
2nd and 10, 3-man rush for Tampa, thrown over the middle. That's caught by the rookie Gordon. He gets to the 22-yard line, setting up a very big 3rd and 2. Actually, you're in 4th down territory at this point in the game, though, in this situation.
Because even a 2 point's not going to help them, so they need a touchdown. So there's no way that they could get a field goal in any combination of a touchdown and 1 or 2 points. So they have to think touchdown. Like you say, this isn't when you're in 4 down territory. If you had a good runner, this would be a good passing down.
3rd down and 2. They're going to throw it anyway, and it is caught, but stopping him shy of the first down is Barber. Neckties Isaac Bruce. So he doesn't get the first, and now it's 4th down.
Yeah, what I meant is if you had a good runner, you could go play fake and go for the end zone and then come back with your running play on 4th down. He's going to have to do that anyway. This is tough when you don't have your best running back and you don't have your best lead blocker in James Hodgins. You know, where you get your power. The Rams in short yardage have never been a quarterback sneak team. But this almost calls, this down, this distance, this situation almost calls for a quarterback sneak.
I thought they should have done it last week against the Giants when they gave it to Faulk, and instead they toss it to Gordon, and the rookie gets the first down and his first NFL touchdown. Well, Mike Martz last week, if he was going to second-guess himself on a 4th down against the Giants, might have second-guessed he should have had Warner sneak. But not Mike Martz will just come at you like a gambler.
Well, and that's the play. I mean, the Kurt Warner has never been a quarterback sneak guy. He's had some concussion problems. You don't want to lead with your head. They pack that whole defense in there. Then they just get a good kick out, a good cutback. And as I said, they were tackling well all night, but on that play, they didn't tackle well. Dexter Jackson missed a big tackle.
Good block by the fullback Hetherington, who buried his man. Wilkins for the point after, and the Rams stay in the game on a 4th down touchdown. 4:21 and all of their timeouts left. They're now down by 6. coverage provided by Budweiser on this first full day of autumn, Florida's Gulf Coast. Fortunately, Isidore stayed a long way away in the southern Gulf right now. They were problematic about a week ago. Aaron Stecker takes the kick at the 12-yard line and brings it back out to the 38-yard line. Let's check in with Melissa.
Alan, injury update on Buccaneers right tackle Kenyatta Walker, their first-round draft choice last year out of Florida. Official word from the team, he has a sprained left ankle. He will not return. Allie, he started every single game as a rookie last year.
And as we mentioned, with him out and with the other injury earlier when Kerry Jenkins broke his fibula, they are down to their last 5 linemen. No subs along the offensive front.
Yeah, someone's coaching up down there at tight end. I mean, you have to do something in an emergency if another lineman goes down. And that's usually the type of thing you do.
Roger, snap, false start, number 60, offense. Still first down.
That's what happens in a big game like this. You're playing on Monday night, and you and you get behind, and you're trying so hard, you just run right out of your pants. You just rip a hole in the back to add a little speed.
That's why every team needs a seamstress.
How'd you like to be the guy doing that?
No.
That's with a shoestring. I mean, they had to make holes like a shoe, and then put the shoelace through it.
Pittman stopped there for a gain of about 1.
I'll tell you, equipment men are great. I mean, they have the answers and the tools and stuff for everything. Okay, Warren Sapp is very upset, about letting the Rams have that last touchdown. They didn't let him. And Kurt Warner and the Rams went out there and got it, but they were in their celebration mode. The Bucs were, and then lo and behold, whoop, there they go.
You have a game again. 6-point game. Second down. 14 from the 33-yard line. Johnson slings it out to Allstott, who's tracked by Aeneas Williams and knocked down at about the 44.
There's Derek Brooks. He's been out the last couple of series. He pulled a hamstring or something. Johnson makes a good throw here, but he's going to have to make another good throw. And this is a big down in this game for both teams. If the Bucs can get a first down here, then they can take a lot more time off the clock. And if not, the Rams are going to get the ball back.
Huge play. 5-point differential. Tampa Bay leading 19-14. Third down and 4. Sucking all the seconds out of the play clock. And then finally they have to take a timeout. Shifting and moving, and with a critical play coming up, they have to use a timeout. And that's their final one. Rams have all 3. Monday Night Football being brought to you by GM, the car company, in overdrive. Universal Pictures. Before the silence of the lambs, there was Red Dragon. And Midas Auto Service Experts. Midas. We do that.
I think that's a great shot. There's nothing a better shot than a shot from above of a city at night.
Love it.
That's the only way I'd want to see it, is from someone else's picture. I wouldn't want to be up there looking at it, but it is fun to look at when someone else does it.
I can get you in an elevator, though, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I'll do an elevator. But I won't,
to what floor?
I won't go up. I don't know.
10?
You see Kurt Warner pacing back and forth there. He can't wait. I mean, he knows he has something going now. He wants to get back in there and do it.
Third down and 4. Huge play from the 44-yard line. Johnson, soft touch, but incomplete. Ken Dilger, the tight end, but covered perfectly. So everything the Rams could want. Incomplete pass, that stops the clock. They'll get the ball back. They have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. A ton of time.
And a timeout right now, a change of possession. So time won't be the thing here. Getting first downs and scoring will be the thing for the Rams. Thing where the Bucs will not let the Rams get a first down.
Tom Tupa's kick. Angled toward the far side, and a beauty. Just when you have to come up big, he lays one out of bounds at the 6-yard line. leaving the Rams 94 yards to go. Earlier tonight, a 91-yard drive.
Yeah, we were talking about Warren Sapp and the havoc that he raised here tonight. You just watch him. Here he's out there at the left end. That's when everyone was trying to get on that right tackle. Here he is inside at the tackle, just getting a big push and always being the guy right in Kurt Warner's face and making him throw it when he didn't want to, or making him bring the ball down, or making him run with the ball. I mean that's the thing. If you're going to raise havoc with an offense, you want to do it with penetration in the middle.
That is havoc. Look at that helmet. All right, the Rams now at the 6, down by 5, seeking their first win of the season. Lamar Gordon is the running back. He's the rookie. They give it to him on a draw, and Gordon making a name for himself. Gordon, number 3 running back in the absence of Faulk. They tried candidate. They go with the kid right now, and he picks up a first down.
You know, and that's a good thing. You know, Mike Martz is I think is a heck of a play caller, and a good play caller, you know, doesn't let you know what he's thinking. But I think that in this situation, when you're coming off the goal line and they have plenty of time, the first thing you're thinking of is getting first downs.
13-yard gain. Last play before the 2-minute warning. Warner avoids a sack and another, and takes off and slides to a halt at the 25-yard line. Went down a little bit late unless he got popped. 2-minute warning comes with a $1:53 left in the 4th quarter in Tampa. Bucs try to hold on. Vote for Monday Night Football's greatest game at ESPN.com. Keyword MNF 500 as we approach our 500th game on Monday night. And you can log on to NFL.com. Inside look at John Gruden. Speaking of inside looks at John Gruden, Keyshawn Johnson took an inside look at John Gruden a few moments ago.
Yeah, and that was after that last drive. I don't know how Gruden can hear him with his ears covered. But then watch as Keyshawn starts to walk away. Then he decides he got one more thing to do. Yep. Now he really gets in that right ear. Gruden said at the end, he said, okay.
Yeah. I also saw what Keyshawn said at the end. Well, Keyshawn a little frustrated, obviously, because he just wants the damn ball, and they haven't thrown him a pass here in the second half.
Well, that was the thing, and the game started out like they were really going to. In fact, we even said that John Gruden said last night that he wanted to establish Keyshawn Johnson, and then he started out the game like he was going to, and that kind of came to a halt abruptly.
So it's 2nd down and 4 now. 1:53 left. All 3 timeouts for the Rams, who have to go 75 yards. Warner over the middle. Short gain, but enough for the first down as Holt makes the catch, tackled by Barber.
You know, that's one thing about Ram receivers. You know, the Bruce and Holt is they will go over the middle. They are tough guys, but if there's going to be a hit and they have the first down, they'll go down.
Now from the gun on first down. Warner to the outside, trying to get out of bounds is Holt, and he does. He gets out at the 34-yard line, picks up about 4, tackled by Dwight Smith with 1:26 remaining.
And as you say, Al, the Rams have all their timeouts, so I think getting yardage in Holt's case is more important than getting out of bounds. I mean, there are some times where you have to get out of bounds, and that's more important than picking up yardage. But now when you have 3 timeouts, the Rams need yardage.
Sapp has to come out again. You're right. I mean, the Bucs will give them all of the 3-yard gains they want. 2nd and 7 from the 34. Warner under pressure. Did he throw? It's taken out of the air by Adam Timmerman and ruled a fumble. But Timmerman takes it up to the 35-yard line.
So he gets it back to about the original line of scrimmage.
And they keep the ball. Take a look again. You keep thinking of the tuck rule in plays like this. But that's clearly a case of his arm coming forward.
Adam Timmerman is number 62 right there. The ball's in the air. He catches it, and he runs it like a big old guard from Cherokee, Iowa.
Even if it's ruled a pass, which it is, and if you're wondering about an ineligible receiver, everybody becomes eligible once the ball is tipped. So once a Buck touch the ball, any Ram can then receive the ball. Unless no penalty.
Look at this. Now we're talking about how Kurt Warner was hit. 17 hits tonight, 5 knockdowns. He's had a batted ball there, and he's been sacked 3 times.
The third down. They've ruled it a fumble, but even had they ruled it a pass, that same rule would have applied. That was officially ruled a fumble. Third down and 7 from the 34-yard line. Warner throws, intercepted, and this is going to wrap it up. It is Brooks, 2 weeks in a row, an interception for a touchdown.
What a gutsy play. He has a pulled hamstring. You see him grab the hamstring?
He just pulled a Bo Jackson. He went up the tunnel all the way to Sarasota.
And he may stay up there. He may not come back out. I'll tell you, Kurt Warner had Isaac Bruce wide open, and he didn't see him. But Derek Brooks is so good at that. There's no linebacker in all of football that's better at reading a quarterback's eyes and getting a jump on the ball than Derek Brooks.
Warner's 4th interception of the game will write a finish to this one. And Gramatica with the extra point.
Cannons going off all over the place. Let's watch again, and watch how Derek Brooks is going to be right here, and now he's just going to read Kurt Warner's eyes. He's just going to come right back here, and he's just watching him, watching him, watching him. He sees that ball, and look at the jump that he gets. And right towards the end there, he's going to grab his left hamstring. Watch just as he starts to go in. Here's what Brooks is looking at. He's looking at Kurt Warner's eyes. As Kurt Warner looks, Brooks moves. As he looks to the right, he moves and gets that jump. And as I said, over on this other side, Isaac Bruce was wide open. Watch number 80 as he comes across here. Kurt Warner doesn't see him. There's no one around Isaac Bruce.
Oh, they're all lovey-dovey now.
Well, that comes under the heading of winning's a great deodorant.
Yes, it is.
When you win, everyone loves everyone. When you lose, you can't find anyone. You know, talking about horse trailer player of the game, though, that changes the thing a little, you know, or maybe just adds another guy. I don't know how you feel. I don't know where you're going.
Taken at the goal line by Wilkins. You know, the irony tonight, John, is that with Kurt Warner earlier going over the 1,500 pass mark, passing attempts, he now moves to the top of a lot of charts, and he does it on one of his worst nights in the pros.
Yeah, he does. And again, you know, he starts out and they haven't been in sync all year with this offense. And then this Tampa Bay defense even gave him trouble when they were really good and when they had everything going. So you knew that they were going to give him trouble tonight. Then you lose Marshall Faulk, and it's just a tough thing for him. I mean, this defense with this personnel plays very well against the Ram offense and their personnel.
And the Bucs are going to beat the Rams on a Monday night for the 3rd consecutive season, barring a miracle finish here, 1st and 10. And that's Yo Murphy up to the 32-yard line. Teams that a season after a Super Bowl appearance lost 3 or more games. The Giants in '87. They lost 2 regular games and then 3 replacement games for a total of 5. And that's one-handed by Torrey Holt to the 44-yard line. And Warner is going to take a timeout here. Clock keeps ticking, but he's taking the timeout. Put a couple of seconds back on it. Time for the horse trailer player of the game. Well, John, what do you think?
Well, you know, I was thinking Warren Sapp, and then I was also thinking Simeon Rice.
Right.
And then that play that Derek Brooks makes there at the end, I'm thinking Derek Brooks.
We can't put 3 guys' pictures on a trailer, you know.
We can't?
Yeah, you can't because, you know, well, we could do anything we want, but I mean, now all of a sudden we're going to be forced into a situation every week we're going to have co-winners, right?
All someone has to do is tell me we can do anything we want. Hard telling what's going to come out after that.
Well, Warren will be angry if we don't put him on, right?
No, I don't care about that. But I mean, if he's angry or not. But I think if I had to pick one guy, if it were me, I would pick Warren Sapp.
All right, let's put him on there.
Okay, that's it.
Yep.
Oh, 3 you said, or did you say?
Well, no, just one guy.
Just Sapp,
From the 44-yard line, that pass is incomplete. Fred Godelli, our producer, is trying to tell us to put 3 guys up. Just one. There you go. Well, they want Brooks.
See, that's the thing, and that's not a bad call right there. Brooks makes that interception. He finishes the game. Did he ever come back out after he?
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either. He went in. I don't know that he ever came back. I think he just went right into the house.
It's such irony because we had the Bo Jackson clip at halftime tonight. Bo with that unbelievable run in '87 and right up the tunnel to Tacoma. And here was Derek Brooks tonight, right up the tunnel into the locker room.
I don't mean to argue that. I mean, I don't mean to. But if Bo would have done what he did that night in Seattle, you would have put him on. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, then we got to put Derek Brooks on.
All right, so there goes Sapp. See, we can be lobbied.
No, I know. And anytime anyone says you can do anything you want, then that means the pile's open, pile on.
All right, so Brooks wins it, cements it at the end.
Yeah, with Sapp.
Yeah, well, Tampa's back on in December. And meantime, the Rams fly home, wondering about Marshall Faulk, wondering about Warner, who now begins the year with 1 touchdown pass and 7 interceptions, a record of 0-3. Dallas in St. Louis next Sunday, and then they go to San Francisco, and then Oakland goes to St. Louis. 3rd and 1, and it ends on a sack. And isn't that the perfect exclamation point for the performance tonight by the Buck defense? Greg Spires ends the game with a sack.
I'll tell you, I mean, Kurt Warner really took a beating. He not only took a beating note tonight, he's taken a beating. He's still down there in the field. He's taken a beating those first 3 games of this season. And before they get back on track, they're going to have to get that straightened out.
Well, the Rams came in, I thought, fairly confident, figured they just had made a couple of mistakes in the first 2 weeks. They would rectify it tonight. They didn't, as the Bucs win it. John, since we're in Florida, we've recounted all the dangling chads. And it's going to be Rice, Sapp, and Brooks, all 3.
And now you're talking.
Now we're talking, right? Only in the Sunshine State.
Right.
And why not? I mean, it was the Tampa defense that did it tonight, and there were the 3 studs.
There we go.
All right, let's go down on the field with Melissa.
All right, well, 1 sack tonight for you, but just a disruptive force you were all night. How do you guys have so much success against this Rams offense?
It's the thing that we just, bring the best out of them. And, they are the best. And they're the greatest show on turf. And, that first drive really showed us what they were all about. We all kind of took a whoop. All right, now we adjusted to a play.
What was the key to getting so much pressure on Kurt Warner?
It's just our ability to go out and rush as all 4 linemen. We have to combine all our strength and all our weaknesses and just go after him for 4 quarters. And we knew he was going to give us the shot to get him because he's going to drop back and throw it. And once Faulk was out of the game, they put him into a one-dimensional team.
Right, obviously Faulk was out of the game, but do the Rams look like the same team to you?
Well, I tell you what, play on Marshall Faulk, so that's I get this misunderstood. Without Faulk, it's a game, and we realized that, and we had to get after that back and we got after.
Congratulations, Warren.
Thanks.
All right, Al, well, yesterday, Warren Sapp told us that this Rams offense is scary. Not scary enough tonight.
No way. In fact, what's scary is the Buck defense, because Warner was sacked 5 times tonight and intercepted 4 times. And the Bucs win it to go to 2-1. The Rams are now 0-3. Final score 26-14 Tampa. Next week to Baltimore. Ravens are hosting the Broncos. And now stay tuned for your late local news. Those of you on the West Coast, Drew Carey Show, followed by Whose Line Is It Anyway? Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark saying goodnight from Tampa. ABC Sports online at ESPN.com. The keyword Monday Night Football.
Castro Nevis has won the Indianapolis 500. The Red Wings have won the Stanley Cup. A new world champion. Are you kidding me? Best final round ever. They're out of their season. That is picture perfect. Inside the 20, goes all the way for a touchdown. They are the undefeated team.
The tradition continues. Sports' biggest events right here. This is ABC Sports Championship Television.
I thought the defense kind of took over in the third quarter after the interception and the penalty against you, and then you really got tough in there.
Well, I tell you what, after the first drive, we all kind of took a seat back and went, whoa. This is the Rams, fellas. Let's settle down and let's play good, solid defense. And we picked it up in the second quarter, and we went in the locker room with a 6-point lead, and we told ourselves we can come out the third quarter and eliminate a lot of things they can do to us. It was really going to aid our chance of winning this game, and when Faulk out, it really helps.
Did you have to change your defense at all when Faulk came out of the game?
No, we just got even more aggressive about it because, you know, the greatest weapon in the NFL ain't in the game right now. And when he's not in the ball game, you can go after him.
And that gave you some one-on-one opportunities to get to the
quarterback? That gave us a bunch of opportunities. You know, he was going to give us a chance to go after the quarterback, but then they went to max protecting a little bit and running two-man routes. So, and we was dropping 8 with some coverages we were doing, and we knew we could cover him up and get a chance to rush him, and he wasn't going to kill us running, so we had him.
Warren, you seem to match up well against this offense. Is it the same Rams offense that you've seen the last couple of years?
I think a little different with the way they're not giving the ball to Faulk. You know, 11 touches, 10 touches first 2 weeks. That's crazy. He's the greatest back to ever play this game. You got to give him 20, 25 touches a game, and we just happy they didn't give it to him.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go back to the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Hank.
Big win for your team. What was the key to coming out strong on offense in the first half?
Well, we felt we had a pretty good plan coming in. The guys executed it. Second half, we had some bad field position, and we lost a couple linemen, but they're a good football team. Great win for us.
You kept giving them great field position in the second half. How did your defense hold them back?
Got a good defense here. They're really outstanding. When they get hitting on all cylinders, we can rush the passer, we can cover people, and they believe in what we're doing.
How does this win measure up for you guys this year?
Well, the last win is always the biggest. This gives us some momentum. We got to go to Cincinnati on a short week, and we got to go compete with a real hungry football team. So we're going to take it in stride. We need the next game now.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Back to you guys.
Isn't it interesting how you made it seem like going to Cincinnati is going to be tough?
That's right. Well, certainly.
Grant comes off the bench, and he struggled there for a little while. But I thought as Grant got going, he was fine. As he went in there initially, you know, we had some mishaps here, but Grant will be fine.
Mike, could you assess the state of the team now? 0-3?
0-3. That's where we are.
How do you get back?
Well, we got to dig ourselves out of this hole. We got to fight back. You know, this is it's tough duty. You know, but we've created the situation ourselves, and we've got to be good enough to do that.
What did you say to the team a little while ago?
We've got a short week. We've got to get back. We don't have time to feel sorry for ourselves. You know, you just don't. We've got to get back and get going and get ready to play the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are concerned about how we feel.
Mike, on the interception in the second quarter when Simeon drops back into that zone blitz sort of coverage there, tell us what happened on that play.
When it's just a run, it's a kind of a run deal that we do. We just, you know, they hit it with a blitz and we throw it to Torrey out there and we change the routes up. And, you know, we've done that, we've been doing that now for 4 years. And, this is the first mishap that we've had with it. Simeon, I think, just made a heck of a play.
Was Kurt just not see him, or?
No, you can't see him. It's a one-step and throw it kind of a deal. There's no way that he can see that. You know, they had the right call at the right time. And usually we have a different route out there that we do that with. And, you know, we changed it. I wish we hadn't changed it. I think it was just a bad call by me more than it was anything else. I know it was. There's nothing Kurt could do about that. He just did what he's coached to do.
Is that a backbreaker in terms of turning the game around?
I think if you let it be, it sure can be. I think we probably did it some. You know, we've got to get them out, and then we've got to get the points back on the board. And, you know, we're going in a situation right at that point to get ahead in the game, and I felt like we had control of the game. And, of course, we lost.
We
lost a little momentum there. Sorry. So. Yeah.
Are you angry? You seem very even keeled.
I'm upset. You know, I feel bad for these players. You know, we've played well enough at times to win these games, and we've got some mistakes here and there that we just can't. We're not good enough to overcome those mistakes. You know, in the past we've been good enough to where we could do some of that, but we've got to fight through this. Yeah.
Thanks. You talked about guys not being in the right spot. Are you a little more discouraged with your veteran receivers?
No.
Just
we've got some guys that just didn't get where they should be, and that's the way it goes. And when Marshall went out, I think that threw me off a little bit. And I probably should have stayed with the run a little bit more. When Lamar got in there, I thought we ran the ball well. Obviously, he hits one on 4th and 1, so. And that's the most positive thing on this game. I think we found a runner. He'll be our starter next week.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Marshall won't.
And when you do this in the passing game, you got to make sure that those guys are where they're supposed to be. And we have some guys that just weren't where they're supposed to be, and I'm upset about that.
When Marshall went out, is it too much for the rest of the offense to try and pick up a guy of his caliber?
Well, you miss Marshall. I miss Marshall. It threw me off kilter. But I was very disappointed in Trunk Candidate's performance. Very disappointed. And so we put Lamar Gordon in there. And it looks to me like we found us a starter. I was very pleased with his efforts and how well he played.
To drive for the first time. He took two tight ends to do it.
Yeah, but you know what? The bottom line, like you said, is we finished the drive. That's all that really matters. You know, we don't have a whole lot of speed at the wide receiver position, so we just make plays. That's all we try to do.
Well, you made some. How about that catch you made on the sideline where you're diving? Looked like your knee was dragging along the ground. Talk about that.
Yeah, you know, it's about 3rd and 15, and at that particular time, I had been calling for that route all day long, and Brad didn't get too much on the ball, just enough to get it out there to me, and I knew at 3rd and 15, no matter what, I had to make an opportunity to catch, so, you know, maybe I do have good hands.
I didn't doubt that. They talked this week about the fact that your defense is starting to catch on what John Gruden wants. It showed up tonight a little more than it has, didn't it?
I think so. I think the defense played extremely well. I think they were up for the challenge. There's something about when we play the Rams, it's almost like the Jets when they played Miami for those 8 years that they were winning. You know, we'll see these guys again. They're a very, very good football team. And, you know, don't underestimate the fact that Marshall Faulk didn't play in the game and we don't. So, you know, I think that we just got to continue to just keep building on what we're at right now with this momentum.
But you feel pretty good about it?
I feel real good about it.
Good. Okay, thanks. Right. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, thanks. Live.
So like I say, I'm really proud of our team. That's a big win for us. We beat a very good football team tonight. Really proud of our players. They got a lot of help tonight from the 12th man. The fans were great, and very emotional win for us. It's as late as I've been up in my life, so I'll answer any questions that I can.
So how excited were you coming off the field, high-fiving the fans, your first win here at Ramsey Day?
No, it was great. You know, it was, we needed to come out of the chute and play well, and you know, to get a victory on Monday night in front of your home fans early in the season is hopefully a momentum for our football team, and something we can build off of, and hopefully we can finish this first quarter of the season the right way next week against Cincinnati.
Coach, any thoughts of going for 2 after the first touchdown?
No, too early in the game at that time. We went for 2 later, and that's usually the case. I usually don't believe in going for 2 early in football games, but everybody has an opinion. We did have a couple injuries tonight that we're concerned about. Kerry Jenkins, we're concerned about. We don't know if he has a fracture in his leg or if it's a bruise. We'll do some extensive MRIs and whatnot, x-rays tonight. Kenyatta Walker has an ankle sprain. He was unable to finish the game, and his status next week also is unknown. So we were pressed tonight in terms of our depth, and we're concerned about those guys, but that's the status of our injuries.
Coach, were you surprised by the way that Ricky Dudley came in and made such an impact?
No, we were pleased to see that play. You know, Ricky's a guy that needs to really get back into football shape. He's been out of training camp. He's been out of circulation here for the last couple of weeks. But I think once he gets into a rhythm, I think he'll be a guy that we can lean on for some playmaking, particularly in the red zone. But I thought our tight ends contributed today. It was that kind of game. St. Louis played a lot of deep, too deep zone. Made it very difficult for us to find many vertical throwing lanes, but I thought Brad did a good job, for the most part, moving our football team, especially early.
So is that how the plays evolved, that the tight ends got more action, or did you specifically game plan this week to use the tight ends more?
Well, we knew that they were going to come in here, play a very similar defense that we play. We didn't want to turn the ball over. We wanted to throw the ball in rhythm, and we weren't going to discriminate against the 4 to 6 yard gain. And the tight ends did serve as some flare control early in this game, and I thought Ken Dilger made some key plays early on our opening scoring drive.
Coach, it looked like your defensive philosophy was pretty similar to the Rams, play a pretty deep, too deep zone and make the catch in front of you. Is that basically what it was?
That's a lot of it, you know, and at the same time mix in some blitzes to keep the offense